let me just make sure that everything is set before Strahd comes in here and goes, yo, I can't hear Sebastian. All right, I think we're good. Hello, hello, hello to everybody that's out there. What's up, what's up? This is That One Piece Talk. My name is Larry.
Seb.
And we're here to talk One Piece. Now, if you've never been here before, this is Sebastian's Davies Dark Tournament, where we power scale certain individuals with certain stipulations and match them against each other. And we have a very positive and respectful debate. And it's not an argument, it's a debate. Now, this is a Sebastian thing, and we're on episode 13. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's joining us and coming inside. Also, if you guys didn't see, 𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐞 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐦𝐩𝐬, one of the mods, has actually posted a react roles. So we started to realize we're using the @everyone too much. It's so generic, so we wanted to target specific people that want to do game nights, or just movie nights. So if you go into the react roles within the welcome column of the top Discord, select which one you want to be in, or if you want to be in both. So that is there. So thank you. Shout out to Nick for helping me out with that. Also, he's amazing. He makes our Discord better. So other than that, I ain't got much else to say. Sebastian, take it away, dog.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Davies Dark Tournament, the show where we have you guys come into our channel and debate the matchups you all want to see. You can champion for your combatants by joining us in our Discord. The link should be in the description, as well as mods. Please post a link to the Discord in the chat. But you guys can come in and debate with us and each other on who you guys think win each of these specific matchups. Today, we are continuing the Legendary Duos bracket. Unfortunately, Luffy and the gang, the other 5 supernovas that were on the rooftop in Onigashima, were not capable of running the gauntlet. They failed short on the Whitebeard and Oden rung. But nonetheless, we are still going to have a Legendary Duos tournament bracket. So we're going to pit up some of the people that they were meant to fight up against one another and see who comes out on top. With this tournament bracket, we are starting off with Kaido and Big Mom versus Akainu and Aokiji, 2 of the biggest duos in One Piece history. We're going to be very interesting to see how you guys fare, how you guys think these guys fare against one another. I will say this: there are no stipulations for these matchups. You basically have to win. You both have to win. You have to defeat both combatants to win these tournaments. This tournament. So I think the level that we're fighting at right now, or level that we're debating with these combatants, is just so high that I don't think there's any real handicaps or any real anchors in these matchups. So it's going to be a straight up 2v2. Whoever wins, whoever you think would win in a 2v2 fight. And let me know how you think it goes. Who you got, what diff, and why. As always, we ask that you guys remain muted until you're called upon once you're dragged in. And once you are dragged in, please, please, please mute the YouTube channel in the background so we don't get any feedback or noise. But with that said, I just want to say thank you all for showing up and stopping in early. Please like the stream if you haven't already. It does help the YouTube algorithm. And I just want to say shout out to the _ʍ𝐻 gang. Sebbay was really popping off on Monday. I know I talk a lot of crap about Fishmen, but I had a lot of fun cosplaying as _ʍ𝐻. I did. We took a lot of pictures. It was cool to engage with you guys and interact with the people in the studio looking at me as _ʍ𝐻. It was pretty awesome. Photo shoot to come. I'll say that. We got some cool pictures that we took that might be hitting the Discord in a little bit. But yeah, Larry, with that all said, if you don't have anything else you want to say, we can start dragging some people in and discussing this first matchup.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. There's a couple people in here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag the first 4 people, and then I'll remember the rest of you guys afterwards. Sounds good? All right.
Yep,
so
sounds good to me.
Dragon Ragnar, Toby, Shin, and Muppets. Those are the first 4. Hello, gentlemen. What's up? What's up?
How's it going, y'all?
What's up, y'all?
Yo, my boy Larry, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Yo, was the 30 minutes worth it, man?
Man.
I don't know what that's
you had to be there a moment, bro.
Man, whole time I had to turn back around. I was too gone.
Oh, man.
I was too gone. I ain't want to cause no mishap.
Hey, what's up, Toby? What up, bro?
What's up, bro?
What's up?
Shin, we don't condone intoxicated driving on this show.
Oh, of course. That's why I turned back around. I am a child of God, but I had the devil dancing with me for a little bit.
Celestial Donkey with the $5 says #BuggyGang. Thank you, CD.
Thank you, CD. What's up, Toby?
What's up, bro?
What up, man?
Ragnar, you there, bro?
Had to get Ragnar in on the Kaido convo. You know how he be hyping.
Oh, God.
Hey, what's up, Muppets? Ragnar not even here, bro.
Yo, drop Ragnar, man.
Yeah, we gotta drop Ragnar, bro.
I'm not waiting for him. I'm kidding. Nah, but for real, drop him.
I'll put Oz then. I know Oz is here for sure.
My boy Oz.
Ozzy.
Oz, what up? What up?
Oz trying to get his mic. I know it.
Muppets, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
All right.
Good, bro. It's wild to see a DDT where I got no glasses. Larry got glasses. It's kind of wild to see it.
It's the new wave. New year, new y'all. New year.
I can throw mine on if y'all want me to. Hold on.
Do your thing, bro. Y'all just gonna all wear glasses the day I don't wear glasses? That's what we gonna do?
I'm always wearing glasses, you know.
That's crazy. Toby, you got your name
Oz, what's up,
on your wall?
Oz, the glasses. This is the glasses game. Like, Sam, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on, yo? I'm about to put some shades on or something.
Yeah, the bad vision gang,
This is
bro.
crazy.
Man.
Yo, get your eyesight up, man.
You with us? What you mean?
Oh,
I
man.
can't find my glasses, bro. This is crazy.
It's all right, Toby. You and me, bro.
I got
All
the
right?
shades, though. Hold on.
And Oz, we can't hear you. You working out? Yo, drop Oz, bro. He's sweating bullets. Oz just...
Oz, we're gonna get back to you, bro.
Yo,
We can't
Oz
even
look like
hear
he
you.
doing it. Oz look like he doing it for Lil Saint, bro. He done.
I was going on a jog, bro.
Yo,
Oz,
look at him,
Oz,
bro.
we can't even hear you, bro. Nah, we can't hear you.
Damn.
All right.
Oh.
All right, so
Oh,
all right, Oz, I'm gonna drop you. Yo, I feel like
Third
we
time's
never
the
get
charm.
Strahd in here on the first round, so I want
I
Strahd.
love-
Yeah, I want
I
Strahd
love
here on the
arguing with
first round.
Strahd.
What's up, Strahd?
Strahd, what up? Yo, Strahd low-key be wearing glasses too now that I think about it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
we always
Hey, what's
we always have Strahd come in like round 2 of everybody, round 3. Like he needs to be round 1, bro.
Yeah, get me out of the way quick.
All right.
All right.
Hey Smith,
All
what's up? What's up? All right, so yeah, so you know, we have Kaido and Big Mom versus Akainu and Aokiji. I guess we'll start with the main man Toby, and let's see where this goes to, man.
Yeah, Toby, who you got? What diff and why? Kaido and Big Mom versus Akainu and Aokiji. What's up?
Okay, I do give respect to Akainu and Aokiji because I do think they're the only animals who could take Danko to a high diff fight or extreme diff fight. Because, you know, I believe the Awaken, even though it's not confirmed, I feel like it's common sense to think that the Awaken. But we don't have enough on them because Akainu's been sitting at the desk and Aokiji's been running around with Blackbeard. So I'm going to give it to Kaido and Big Mom. Extreme diff out of respect. The 2 animals, but don't have enough feats, and we've seen so much more from Kaido and Big Mom. Literally monsters. 2 of the strongest in the show, so I'm gonna give it to them. Extreme diff.
All right. Extreme diff. I see that. You think anybody gets taken out on their side at all, or you think it's over? They just win it. Kaido, Big Mom. You think either of them go down? Nah. Huh?
Most double characters in the series.
True that. All right, Shin.
I've been waiting. Y'all know I'm part of the Admiral agenda here. So let me just say a couple things. Kaido and Big Mom, this can honestly go either way to me. Either way, it's gonna be an extreme death fight. No matter who you pick is gonna win. I want to get that off my chest first off. But I'm gonna have to give it to my boy 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 and my boy 𝐓𝐤𝐽. And let me tell you why. I know I'm getting all the hate, all the boos, but let me tell you why.
Sleeping.
Big Mom, hey, Stride, you already know how we get. I don't even want to say nothing. Big Mom's soul fruit, she can't do nothing to either of the admirals. Let's first start off by saying they're not gonna be scared of her. Like let's just, they're not scared of nobody. They're gonna be giving anybody the smoke. Both the admirals are awakened, as we know. We can bear witness to this from Punk Hazard. Next, their durability is a problem. But can we please not forget that Oda himself said that 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 has the most offensive power in the whole series. Not only that, if he was going to be a pirate, he would find the One Piece in a year. So his offensive capabilities is really getting through both of their durability. Because we're not just gonna say everybody on the rooftop or anybody in Wano had bigger offensive capabilities than 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞. Like let's not say that. I believe this is all speculation now. 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 has to have Conqueror's Haki. He has to. Don't listen to nobody. He don't care. He was still finna whack. He was. That's what. Stride. Just listen. Stride. You gotta listen. Open your ears. That's exactly what I said. Speculation. 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 has to have Conqueror's Haki. He was finna fold Kobe in front of everybody. He didn't care. He was finna keep fighting. If Sengoku ain't say the war was over, 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞, I swear to God, he was finna go toe to toe with everybody. He was just finna let it all loose. He was saying, I'm finna go in awakened mode, all that. And if 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 has been sitting down and Oda has not been showing him for a reason, he has to have something in his bag that's so deep that y'all gonna look at the Yonko and y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 up there with them. If he's not up there with them, why are we constantly putting him in our top 5 or top 10s? If we haven't seen nothing. Like, let's be honest. Aokiji, he froze pre-time skip from one island to another. I don't know how far y'all think islands are, but islands are pretty far to be considered an island and not an archipelago. Well, however you want to pronounce it. And it lasted for what, 7 days? 10 days? Insane. Now, I'm not saying that he instantly gonna touch him and they gonna freeze. Because obviously, if he touched them, I don't believe he gonna freeze their whole body. But maybe he can freeze part of their body. So like, touch the arm freeze, you gotta deal with that now. Blah, 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 whatever. Now, Kaido and Big Mom are strong. Yes, like I said, it's gonna be extreme death. Kaido got his hybrid dragon, Conqueror's Haki, Koden. Y'all know how I feel about Big Mom with Conqueror's Haki Koden. Yeah, she can do it, but she fight off emotions. She ain't got no emotions in this fight. She has no emotional ties in this fight whatsoever. Only time we see her do Conqueror's Haki Koden was when Otama got slapped. And that's because Big Mom was in mom mode. And you know how mothers get around children that are in danger. Let's not forget. But yeah, I just like to rebuttal everything else anybody else got to say. That's all I'm going to say for my point. That's my opening statement in this court of law. And I got 𝐓𝐤𝐽 and 𝐓𝐤𝐽 extreme death. And yes, to answer your question, if Kaido and Big Mom win, one of them is definitely getting knocked off. One of them definitely getting knocked off.
Okay. I'm thinking about switching the stipulation to for this tournament to be if one person goes down, you lose. Because I think it might be a little bit more interesting. What y'all think?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm fine with either way. I'm fine either way.
Either way, the Broncos win.
I mean, I don't think there should be a stipulation. I think it's a Legends bracket.
Yeah, this is all Legends.
No
I don't
think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. We did get a $2 super chat from Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke. I'm sorry. He says, "Yo guys, I wrote notes for this one. LOL. We're gonna have to get Rio in here on the next wave, Larry. Make sure you jot that one down. But thank you so much for the $2 super chat, man. All right, Strahd. Who you got? What diff? And why?
Opposite of everything that Shin said because he was wrong, except for the extreme diff part. I think the Yonkos would still take it because at the end of the day, every single time we put Kaido up against impossible odds where he should lose, it's always, well, Kaido's that guy, and if he fights the comp, if he does this, if he does that, it's always Kaido. So if it's a real Legends bracket, everyone's going all out. I think Kaido would best the Admirals, and it's Yonkos over Admirals. And I understand that there's a little bit of a handicap because of the whole Big Mom thing, but that doesn't mean that her durability all of a sudden goes out the window. It doesn't mean she's, gonna have a glass jaw all of a sudden. She's still gonna be alive long enough and she's gonna be able to do damage to him anyways. So at the end of the day, I still have the Yonkos. We'll get more into it. People will say stuff. We'll have to actually contribute, but it's always gonna be Yonkos over Admiral, especially Kaido and Big Mom. So it's extreme diff too, but yeah. And just as collateral, Kid would die on a nearby island.
Oh my God, bro!
Some islands, just so you know. Hold up, no, you had your time to talk. You had your time. Okay. You had your time to talk. Okay.
Amazing.
Just so you know, some islands can be cluster islands, and they can be kind of close by. So Kid was over there exploring an island which he never passes up, and he got killed. That's all I got.
Wow.
Listen,
I knew it.
Listen, kid caught a stray, man. It is what it is.
Yo, Kid.
Well, it was 100% intentional.
I
But
can't. Oh my God, I can't with y'all. I can't.
Oh man. All right. Appreciate the take, Strahd. Muppets. Who you got? What diff? And why?
Oh, it's gonna be extremely diff, but it's gonna be the Admirals all the way.
Ooh.
Like, if Mid-Kid beat and Law beat Big Mom,
Kid's still
then
taking straight.
it's no way that the Admirals can't beat Big Mom. And then right there was a 2v1. And Kaido's not going to take it seriously at all, like he did with Luffy and he did with Yamato. So they're ready to come fighting. They're ready to come hard, and they're going to beat Kaido down easily.
Okay. Well, you think it's extreme or high diff? What's the diff?
It's going to be extreme. Like, it's going to be tough. Like, it's not. These 4 people are not hard to bring down. Like, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Okay. Toby, you got your hair raised. What's going on, man? He took the shades off. Yeah, y'all funny as hell today.
I appreciate that entrance.
His name Muppets.
No.
Law and Kid didn't just beat Big Mom, bro. We're not gonna act like they just beat Big Mom straight up. They defeated Big Mom. I give them the credit, but one, Big Mom thought they were dead, so they got a little break. And 2, they were gassed, bro. Like, if they didn't knock her down, they were just gonna die. Like, straight up, they were gonna die. They were not gonna beat Big Mom. So the whole Kid and Law beat Big Mom. So no, that's not how it goes. That's not how it's gonna work.
Can I say something? Because we obviously talking about Kid now. So let me just say something.
I mean, we don't have to. He's dead.
Yeah, I don't even want to bring Kid up. He's not. I don't even.
Tournament.
Look, Kid's not important enough to be in the tournament, which is why he died as off panel. So
Luffy's not in the tournament. What are we talking about, man?
You brought it up.
So first off, I want to say I'm glad Muppets, you agreed with me about the Admirals winning. Some of the stuff you were saying was super wild though, like super wild. You saying Kaido not finna take them serious? Dead wrong. They're Admirals. As we all know, pre-time skip confirmed, all Admirals, hockey masters. And if 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞, speculation, I believe that 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 has conquered hockey. If you're a hockey master, you're going to be a master in all forms of hockey that you have. So and I'm pretty sure that 𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞, or at least the original 3 Admirals, know something about Advanced Conquerors. Because let's just say, God Valley took place, like 39 years ago?
Damn, we living in speculation land. You done bought a one-way trip ticket. How the hell we make it to God? How did we make it to God Valley? You just begging for an answer. Kid not getting resurrected. I don't care what.
Bro, why are you talking about Kid? You talking about Kid more than me, and I mess with him.
Yeah, that's part of your problem. Moving on.
So moving on. Sengoku and them was at God Valley. had to be some Conqueror's Haki coding going on there. Like, had to be. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got all the legends, the real legends like Rocks, and Roger and Garp and all of them. You had all them there, Big Mom there. People doing Conqueror's Haki coding left and right. You don't think Goku or Garp like said something about that? Like, oh, if you got Conqueror's Haki coding, or like there's another form to Conquerors to the 3 original admirals, or they didn't find out about that. They have to. They're hockey masters. Like, that's your job. Like, you have to know the powers of the world and how the world works. Like, that's your job. You're an admiral. Like, if you're gonna be strong, you're gonna have to learn how these power systems work. So I'm gonna say that.
Shin, there's a lot of speculation in here.
A lot of speculation.
A lot. And I'm willing to allow it. All right, I am, because I'm an admiral guy. But
that's
you gotta chill out, bro. You can't.
He just hates Big Mom.
You can't be out here talking about God Valley. And conversations that people probably had. All right, you can assume that somebody might have a capability. You can't be like, yo, because of this moment in time that they weren't around for, they probably learned something. Nah, bro.
Some pushback on the whole blanket statement of Oda said Akainu had the most maximum AP. He did, and I'm not going to fight that. I agree with it. But that doesn't mean he just automatically trumps Kaido in power. I don't see Akainu.
I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, you are. You are, because I'm talking. All right, Kaido was lifting up an entire island, right? The whole fight. I mean, we can go on about all these accolades we do at every Kaido fight, so I'm not going to do it. He was doing all of that while also taking all he took from the main character, narrative, all these things. So we can assume that Akainu is doing maybe similar things if we're assuming he's that guy, right? But it's just blanket statement over Kaido, like, well, Oda said that Akainu has the most maximum potential AP, so therefore he just wins. I think it's silly, because at the end of the day, it's Kaido, and Kaido is always that guy when we reference that guy, especially Kaido and how he's written. So, yeah, just want to point that out before you just blanket his power compared to Kaido's little magma fist. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it.
Okay. So to rebut your statement, I'm talking now. Shush. To rebut your statement,
I hate you.
I was bringing up Akainu's offensive capability, not saying like, oh, it's stronger than Kaido's by slightly, very slightly. Like, you got 1 centimeter, then you got 1.1 centimeters. Like,
I don't know about that.
And then not only that, Kaido to me was known to be like the best because of his durability. He's able to take. Oh my god. Okay, so we're not just gonna act like Kaido not up there. If Kaido didn't have his durability and just had his offensive capabilities,
so Shin, I do want to give you some pushback here. Oda said Akainu has the most offensive devil fruit in the game, not him. Like, he has the most offensive capabilities in the game. All right, I just want to put that out.
Fist, bro.
Okay, he has the most offensive devil fruit, which he is going to use
potentially.
It's not potentially. He does.
Yes, it is. It's potentially the highest. His roof is the highest out of all potential for AP. It is.
Okay, and I'm a fleet admiral, and I'm not at my potential. I'm not in my prime right now. That's what you're saying.
So.
You sound mad that the Yonkos still win.
No, they don't.
So am I hearing that Akainu, since he has the highest AP for a devil fruit, that it comes second to Blackbeard's Gura no Mi?
Huh?
AP and destructive ability are 2 different things, so I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Well, no, because the way it's suggested is if the Guro did a move and then the Magu no Mi did a move, and it was just that move, and you rated on a scale from 0 to 100, which got up to 100. If you hit a hammer and hit a bell, Akainu was supposed to rank higher. Is that true from the Guro? Like, is it across the scale?
So the way I would look at it is because Akainu, he's gonna have that initial power. The Guro Mi gonna have more power, but Akainu was made of lava, so it's gonna do more offensive damage because of his lingering effects.
So what does Akainu have that is comparable to Whitebeard's world teeter-tottering move in Marineford?
Turning Punk Hazard into a Hawaii? Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, hold up. Listen to what you just said, though. You said the island. He was affecting the actual sea itself. Go back and rewatch.
Hold on.
Okay, can I say something?
Is
Is that not true?
Can we please?
Is that
acknowledge
not true?
Can
no,
we
no, no,
please?
hold on. We can acknowledge after you acknowledge what I said. Is that not true?
Okay, yes, he
So he was affecting land and sea, which is
he
more than
affected
just the
the land
island, correct?
and sea that was around
Okay, thank you.
Marineford. Yes, but let me tell you something.
wanted
Marineford
to
pales.
clarify.
Marineford pales in comparison to the size of Punk Hazard. Can we please say that too? Can we say that? So they're
contained to
no,
the island.
no.
Okay. Let's say that's true.
So-
but it's still
so-
contained to the island, correct?
What the
𝐓𝐤𝐦𝐞 magnificent magma meat you're writing right now. That's contained to the island, correct?
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
so
Yes.
okay. So Whitebeard literally affected the sea around Marineford because that's all he needed to affect because that's how big Marineford was. Whitebeard could have affected way more than that, and if it had been Punk Hazard, he would have also been affecting the sea.
So
To say
he-
the opposite is pure speculation.
okay, he affected the sea temporarily and went back to normal, right?
What I'm trying to get across to is it's a bigger area of effect, which means even though Akainu has higher AP on a scale, Whitebeard could still outperform him with moves devastatingly. And it's the same for Kaido because Kaido's that guy.
Okay, but
That's
you
what
only
I'm trying to
saying,
get across.
you only
Akainu doesn't
saying-
wipe because of his AP number.
okay, you only saying it's a bigger area effect because of what we seen. Like I said, it affected
Yeah,
the
that's
sea.
called evidence in your
okay,
court of law.
okay. It affected the sea around Marineford. You don't know if
That's
when
past the
Akainu. That's okay. How far past the island? Was it like
Does it
hundreds
matter?
of
It's
miles away?
still
Was it impaled
the
down?
island,
No.
therefore affecting more.
But the island on Punk Hazard is way bigger than Marineford, so
Okay,
you can
so-
you can
but you're-
say that the area of effect that Akainu affected around the entire island on his half of the island because Aokiji. You don't even if Aokiji wasn't there, he probably could have turned the whole island like that.
Okay, so that's massive speculation. For what we can see, he could
okay,
only do
okay.
half of Punk Hazard.
Okay,
and we were
because
doing
he had
all of Marineford.
he had a
plus some of the
natural
ocean.
devil fruit opposition on the other side of the island, counteracting his own devil fruit. So it's not like it's just sitting there. Something is actually pushing back. Like, let me say this.
So are you
Which is-
suggesting that he would have burnt the ocean, kind of like Oven did, and like just made like a magma trail to the next island, like Aokiji did? Is that what you're
He
saying?
or when his lava touched the ocean, it would have turned into obsidian, expanding the island, or something like that.
So then why wasn't that
I
commented?
guarantee the ocean was
Why wasn't that commented to have happened during the Punk Hazard fight?
because we haven't. What Punk has? We haven't seen it.
The only you're quoting saying he's so strong and it's so big of an
Okay,
island.
let me tell you something. Did anybody that participated in that fight or witnessed that fight personally comment on that fight in the series so far? No, it was only stated
When we
that,
went to the island, did we see Obsidian anywhere? I feel like that
No.
would have been commented on when it was talking about the damage and stuff they did, like changing the environment and how cool it was and massively powerful they were.
Okay, but no, we did
You
not see
get my
that.
point, though. He
But-
didn't
but
go into
until
the
we-
ocean and
until we
wipe
actually
the
see-
ocean.
Until we see the actual fight, you can't say that. You don't know if Akainu or Aokiji affected the ocean. You don't know
so
that.
then you can't say the opposite. We're back at square one.
How? I can't say that. Punk Hazard is obviously bigger than Marineford.
Okay, but you're speculating that Whitebeard couldn't affect it because it's obviously bigger than Marineford. That makes no sense because
No,
we
I'm
didn't
saying-
see it.
I never said Akainu can't affect Punk. I mean, I never said Whitebeard can't affect Punk Hazard.
All
I
right,
think we need to
I
Shen,
move
never.
Strahd. I enjoyed the show because I love to see y'all two argue about it, literally anything. So
Yeah, we
I-
argue about everything. Don't take it personal. This is all fun.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, if y'all are in the Discord, you know these two got fake beef, but they really
I
love
wouldn't
each
call
other.
it fake.
Fake.
It's fake.
Hey.
It's fake.
It'd be real.
Yeah, this
We
is
just be
very
real
much
about it, you
real.
feel me?
Okay. All right. Is anybody changing their vote? Right now it's 2-2.
Oh no,
No. Toby, you
Nope,
sticking with
I got common sense.
Yeah.
It's Yonkers.
I'm good.
Muppets?
It's hard.
I'm staying.
All right. I know Shin's staying.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate
Glad you
the
do.
takes, gentlemen. We're gonna drop you guys and get another group in here. Larry, before you bring in the next people, I want to read these couple super chats we got in.
Drop
Okay.
Shin first. He deserves it.
Nah, you be hating.
Matter of fact, I'll drop him. Yeah, get out of here.
Hey, Strahd, don't be abusing your power, man. But all right, we got $2 from Ryunosuke. It says, "Yo, that kid comment made me holler." Yo, it was funny as hell. I wasn't expecting kid to catch that stray. And then we got another $2 in support of kid from General 30th. It says, "Useful Captain Adult ain't dying to no one." I don't know if that joke landed 30. I don't know if it did. But
all right, I'll bring in the next
appreciate it.
people.
Make sure you get Ryunosuke in here.
Yeah, getting them all in here now. I brought in a couple people. That's
right.
4, right? 4 people.
Yeah, we got my guy Nerdtaku, Party Pete, Ryunosuke, and Zaki in here. What's up, gentlemen? How's it going?
Yo.
Hey,
So guys.
Yo, Taku, you just be growing facial hair, removing it back in different areas. What's up?
They look good like this, man.
And I see you glasses gang today, and
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that. I
Well,
don't.
it seems like you didn't get the message, but
This is crazy.
Larry told me to wear it on the stream.
Oh man, yeah, this is crazy. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going. I heard you guys were talking some craziness on the podcast, talking about Anel and Smoker, and I was immediately like,
We've been
Listen,
arguing
that's-
about that for like 10 minutes.
yeah, we
That's
were arguing in the den for a while.
Oh man, we gotta like record the den one of these days, Larry. But yes, that is coming up. There's going to be a DDT following this DDT that should have a couple more wide-ranging combatants in it. I'll say that much. I won't spoil it, but welcome to the Davies Dark Tournament, gentlemen. Party Pete, I know you don't got glasses on, bro. I know you.
Huh?
You got glasses on right now?
My camera's not even on. What?
I'm just saying you don't wear glasses. If you whip out glasses for no reason right now,
I don't even own glasses. Where's the
All right, there we go. I'm just making sure.
Go get you a pair just for this.
Just making sure. Zachy, what's up, man?
You know, I'm chilling. I heard a lot of speculation earlier. You know, I'm the speculation king these days.
Hey, man, I will allow speculation as long as you're not wild. Shin was wilding a little bit.
Look, man, I have a very, very strong opinion on this subject, man.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie.
We gonna get it soon. Ryunosuke, I'm gonna start with you because you prepared notes, and I would love to hear those notes. How's it going?
Yeah. Thank you. Also, very good good idea of putting the brackets before the stream, because that's a lot of people preparing. The debate's going to be a lot better. Yeah, I figured.
That was Larry's idea. Give it to him. It's the glasses. You put the glasses on. He thinking straight now.
Good idea,
Been
Larry.
theorizing and everything.
But all right, Ryunosuke, it's on you. Who you got? What
All
diff,
right.
and why?
I got 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐼 and 𝐲𝐽𝐽 high to extreme diff.
Ooh.
So I got the Fleet Admiral and the potential Titanic Commander right now. First off, 𝐲𝐽𝐽 can easily take out Prometheus and Hera. Hera's made out of cloud, is a cloud, so she's made out of water, so he can just freeze her over. That's half of Big Mom's kit gone. So I don't think she can take on these two without her entire kit. Second off, 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐼 has the best offensive fruit, stated by Oda. And if the lava that these two fell in did any damage to them, I think there's a big chance that 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐼 can critically hurt these guys. Also, Kaido won't be able to go into his dragon form. I don't know why he would do it, but he can't, because if he does, then a hail of magma fits just takes him out the sky. So he's gonna have to stay on the ground. But even with staying on the ground, 𝐲𝐽𝐽 is a massive threat to both of them on the ground. He can freeze the ground, give them bad footing. He can just freeze them in general. We saw what he did pre time skip. So we know he can do a lot with his fruit. They're also gonna have a hard time counterattacking because all of the damage over time. The magma is gonna be hurting them. They're gonna be getting weaker and weaker over time with all of the magma. The burn, the slow. The ground will be unsafe for them to fight. They won't be able to get close to them, unless, because there is some pushback. The Emperors are very, very durable. You could argue they are the most durable characters in One Piece that we've seen. They'll be able to tank all of this for a while, and they will have a lot of chances to fight back. If they wanted to, they could do their combo attack, gain some ground with that combo attack while they're dodging, get close enough to go against 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐼. And I say 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐼 is because I think he's gonna be the biggest threat for these two with his magma. So if they're able to damage him and maybe critically hurt them, they'll have time to wait it out, play the long game, and then have the injuries to 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐼 kind of, slow him down.
And then after that, they can just take out Akainu and then go against Aokiji. But that is, in my mind, the only way they win this. So that's why I say say it's an high extreme diff. They have a chance to win, but I think the Fleet Admiral and the Titanic Commander got this.
Okay, that was very well said, and I appreciate you prepping with notes. That was very well done. Thank you. All right, appreciate the take. Nerd Taku, who you got? What diff, and why?
So I have the Yonkos, and I have it high but close to extreme diff. And the reason I say that is he's right. There is a lot that is in the Admiral's tool belt when it comes to this, but I think we're just kind of discounting. Like, I don't think that the magma actually was hurting Big Mom and Kaido. I really don't, especially because Kaido has his own magma form. And I mean, he's been shown to be ridiculously durable. And I really, and this is where maybe a little bit of the speculation comes in, I don't think Kaido's dead, especially just from the magma. I mean, he was just knocked unconscious and fell into it, but I don't think that he's done. I just think that it's just like a momentary pause for him before he gets back up. But his dragon form also has like wind, it has fire, and like he's been shown to use thunder in his ʍ𝗲 techniques. Like all three of those are just like really good moves against elemental users in general, because he can use multiple elements. And if you use if Big Mom is going against Aokiji, like all she needs to do is use Napoleon and Prometheus to make her flame sword and just do him in real dirty with like especially with a Conqueror's coding attack. Like, we don't know if Akainu or Aokiji have Conquerors. We speculate that Akainu might, but we can't really give that to them. So they're going against two Conquerors coding users. And like, if they're playing to win, which I'd imagine that because of their level of competition, Kaido and Big Mom are going all out. Because usually Kaido plays to his comp, but if his comp is really high, he's going to be playing to that level. So I think we can give that to him. So I truly think that they're going to come out on top, because I think the durability plays a big role in it. They are way more durable than Aokiji and Akainu are, like as from what we've seen. Like, they were scrapping for 3 days and they weren't at all like tired or anything. I think they could easily go for 10 days, if not more. So I think that, especially against an overwhelming foe like two Yonkos, and it's always Yonkos over Admirals. We know that. So I would even say that it's Yonkos that are slightly, especially Big Mom and Kaido and Shanks, like the original OG Yonko. I think they're above Fleet Admiral, or just slightly above. So I think that they take this high to almost extreme diff, but I think that they definitely got it in the bag.
All right, that was very well said as well, Nerd Taku. Thank you. Appreciate the take. Party Pete, who you got?
Okay.
What diff, and why?
So I'm gonna go with like their Taku. I'm gonna go with the Yonkos. I would say high diff, maybe extreme diff, but I think just starting off like kind of like Nerd Taku said, I think just off base, the OG Yonkos are stronger than the OG Admirals. Even if we're talking about like where they are currently. And just to kind of counter a couple of Ryunosuke's well thought out points. I think for one, saying Aokiji could freeze Prometheus, I think is just a little bit underestimating. Like, he might be a little version of the sun, but it's still a sun. Like, that's hot. So like, while ice might be a counter to, fire and things like that, that doesn't mean you can just freeze the sun just because you have ice powers. And also freezing Big Mom or Kaido, like any devil, like, cause just as we've seen on multiple occasions, a strong enough hockey can negate to some degree a lot of attacks from various devil fruits. Especially if you're not specifically weak to those devil fruits. Neither of them are specifically weak to ice, and they've shown some of the strongest hockey that we've seen in the series. And I think Big Mom's ability to create homies on the fly is being underrated slightly. Like we've seen her turn the floor itself into a homie before. Like parts of the ocean, like things like that. Like she turned water into a homie. So say 𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐽𝐺 creates a massive form of ice or whatever it may be, there's no saying she couldn't turn that right back around on him and use it on Akainu as one of her homies. Because she's shown the ability to make these things on the fly. And not to mention both of them in terms of mobility are superior to Akainu and 𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐽𝐺. They both could fly while Akainu could, kind of rain down the magma, the big rocks and things like that. There's nothing that shows Kaido and Big Mom can't block things like that with their swords or their clubs, just based off the strength they've displayed. So I don't think that specifically is going to take them out of the sky. And that takes away a lot of the advantage that the Logias possess because they can't fly. And so in terms of mobility, they suffer a lot. I think they're weaker in terms of hockey. They seem to be, even though Big Mom is also very Devil Fruit reliant, the Admirals seem to be more reliant on their Devil Fruits compared to the Yonkos. Not to say that they have weak hockey, but when you're comparing them to some of the best in the series, I think they fall a little bit short at the moment when you're looking at them. And so I just don't think there's a specific category where they can really, take advantage of the openings or weaknesses of the Yonko because like Kaido's got the durability to take a magma punch. Like he's not a sick old Whitebeard. And, Akainu, he got up from Whitebeard's Quake fruit attack, but Kaido's not sick and like on his deathbed. If he's got a Conqueror's coated _Bagua coming to his face and he's making full contact, that's doing more damage than Whitebeard's punch at Marine 4 that we see. He's not bouncing right back up from that just because we've seen there's a relation to hockey and someone's age and their health and like what they can use. And Kaido is healthy. And he's already at the top tiers of Conqueror's hockey users and Conqueror's coding users that we've seen in the series. So I think while Akainu may have high AP, they both have the best durability that we've seen. And their AP is maybe slightly weaker than his if his is the strongest, but they're still top tier. So I think they could deal just as much damage as the Admirals may be able to deal with them, but they can stand much more damage than the Admirals can, considering the arsenals that they have. And the combination of Big Mom and Kaido is just too versatile for the Admirals to overcome because it's not like they've never fought, like they were crewmates. So it's not like they don't know how to fight together. Like as much as Akainu and 𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐽𝐺 may have like come up in the Marines around the same time and things like that, Kaido and Big Mom were on the same crew and they were causing plenty of trouble for the Marines. So teamwork's not an issue. They have an advantage in mobility. They have an advantage in durability. They have an advantage in hockey. So I just think too much falls in the Yonko's favor for the Admirals to overcome that. So that's why I say high diff.
All right. Fair take. I appreciate the take, Pete. A lot of good points there. I like what you said about Big Mom, but creating homies out of the ice or even magma capabilities that the Admirals have. I didn't think of that. That'd be interesting. I'd want to know how that would work. But again, she has created homies off pretty instantly, or just not much prep time necessary. So yeah, so it's something to think about. I never thought of that. It didn't factor in my mind until you said it, and I was wondering, like, I wonder how that would go. Like, what it would require hockey to like overcome it. I know we've had these conversations before with like Doflamingo and Cracker as to what would be, the deal with parasiting them. I wonder what a homie, ice homie or a magma homie would look like, and how it would impact them, and vice versa. So that was a good take. Appreciate it, Pete.
Can I give some refutes to his pushback to me? Or do I have to wait for the next person?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So I understand what you're saying. 𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐽𝐺 probably can't take out Prometheus, but Prometheus is fire, so Akainu could probably take out Prometheus like he did to Ace. Like he said, magma is harder than fire. So even if 𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐽𝐺 can't do it, Akainu can probably do it. And it's true.
Fire is the sun,
So
I don't think he's that high as the sun, though.
I have my own pushback on that, Pete, and then that was one thing I forgot to mention. if Zoro can cut it, Zoro can't cut the sun. You know what I mean? Like, he cut Prometheus pretty easy. It wasn't like an extreme thing that he had to do that. So I don't think we can scale Prometheus anywhere near the sun's heat levels. So
Yeah, also we've
he-
seen the way
Sorry.
Mother Caramel made something like Prometheus. Just because it was shaped as a sun, it originally just came from fire.
yeah. But
Go
ahead,
and then
Venus.
the next point, you said the ice. I didn't say the ice would like take them out, but it's gonna be a big hindrance. It can if they're like preparing a big attack, he can just freeze them, stop the attack in their place. The bad footing is also a big because Kaido's gonna have to get close to them. Big Mom's gonna have to try to get close to them as well. And all of Kaido's attacks that are gonna like do damage, he needs some kind of footing to get them off. So the him freezing the floor and making a hindrance like that is always going to be bad for them. And I speculate that Kainu has conks, just based off he's going to fight Luffy in the future. Oh, he's gone. Wait, who just left? That's all good. I speculate that he's going to have to fight Luffy in the future. So I think conks is gonna be a must for that fight. Not only that, the homies aren't gonna really be a problem. They can probably get taken out pretty easily, and that's just gonna be Big Mom wasting life for no reason.
So I'd like to push back on one of those.
I think that slightly underestimates the homies as far as them just being like easily taken out, because even if she just turns them against the opposing elements, then it creates problems. Like if Akainu's fighting Kaido, for example, and 𝐲𝐽 throws some big ice chunk at Big Mom or something like that, she turns that into a homie and directs that at Akainu. Is he going to be able to deal with that as well as Kaido and maintain his focus? And do you think Akainu has the room to not be focused on Kaido in a one-on-one fight? I don't think so. And also, I think we're underestimating the degree of Big Mom and Kaido's hockey to say that like their feet would be frozen simply from Akainu freezing them. We haven't seen Akainu freeze anyone with hockey levels like Big Mom and Kaido. So like even what we've seen from 𝐲𝐽 in the past is just not. It's not the same when you're talking about these Yonko, because they're at a different level than who we've seen him use it on. Like a pre-time skip Luffy and Zoro and things like that is not the same as Big Mom and Kaido in full swing. And they can do plenty of damage from the sky alone. Like those magma rocks aren't really going to take them out of the sky, because they've shown the strength to be able to resist something like that with their clubs or swords. And if they're fighting from the sky, that doesn't leave 𝐲𝐽 and Akainu with a bunch of options, and they sure can't use their full arsenal of attacks just off rip, while Big Mom and Kaido have a myriad of attacks that they can use from the sky together or alone.
I think
Yeah.
they'll be able to fight in the sky, to be honest.
But
We
we
saw-
haven't seen them do that ever, though. You know,
We saw pre-time skip. 𝐲𝐽 went from the floor all the way to the air to catch Luffy, and then in Marineford he
No,
had
Luffy
to.
knocked him into the air. And
Oh, did he?
and we're talking
Okay,
about
that's my
flying,
bad.
not like
But also
momentary
in
jump.
Marine, even if it's a momentary jump, they'll have chances to fight back.
But they can fly. So like, just if someone jumps up in the air really high, if you can fly, you can simply move out of range, because they can't.
So
like, they can't-
I actually
I
have,
mean-
I have something to say about that. So I think that,
Go
of
ahead.
course, if these people are admirals, they definitely have the 6 powers. They can definitely skywalk. They can do stuff like that.
We've
But-
seen vice admirals use Geppo. I don't
Yeah,
see
so
how enough people to think that they
But
could.
that's
But
not the same
I
as
can-
flying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but they can get up there, and I'd imagine that they're pretty fast with it. But
Right,
they
but
don't
that-
have the mobility of a dragon and Big Mom who's flying on her homies. Like that's
Right.
just a way different level of mobility in the air, and I just don't think that they can handle that, especially if Big Mom is just flying on Kaido and like using like Mazer Saber and like other moves where she's able to spam lightning and to spam like fire. Like I don't think that we've seen anything where Kaido actually needs like decent footing either. Like he was smacking Luffy around something fierce in the air and everything. Like he hit Luffy so hard that he literally flew off of Onigashima several times, and only one time was he ever able to like come back on his own. Like, I just think that Kaido has that mobility and the ability to fly and use blast breath and all sorts of like his wind scythes, and like he just has so much in his bag. I just feel like the admirals couldn't handle that, especially from the air, where they would have to be able to skywalk and do things like that to even get to their level to be able to fight on an even playing field. So I just feel like that doesn't really account for enough in the Admiral's favor that they would be able to overcome Yonko like we've seen.
Right, and someone mentioned it in the chat as well, but just like to kind of put some perspective on Aokiji's freezing people, Dofi snapped right out of it.
Yeah, it's true. I just rewatched that. I don't think it's gonna keep him.
When he froze them all, and that's not, like I said, it's not to like downplay Aokiji or anything like that. But when you're talking about the likes of Big Mom and Kaido, if it's something Dofi can pop right out of, like even holding their feet would be a challenge.
Well, I'm not saying it's gonna be for like a couple seconds. It might be for like a second or half a second, but that's enough to stall for them to at least try and do something. Also, to Nurtaku's them flying. If Aokiji just takes out Hera, because Hera's a cloud, she's water, if he just freezes her over, she can't get into the air. And I don't think Kaido will allow Big Mom to get her back. I don't think that's just the type of person he is. So she's going to be on the ground, and if Kaido does go into the air, they just 2v1 Big Mom on the floor.
But couldn't she just make another one like she did when she got rid of Zeus?
It took her some time.
Yeah, that's gonna take too much time.
And there was actual like lightning hovering and shooting on Onigashima and over the sky. So, or just clouds and things that were there. I don't know. I mean, I didn't create a battle.
We've also seen Big Mom combine all her homies to make like Mazer Saber and stuff like that, where it's not about just taking out one homie. Like, so if they're that close to her, especially considering that's how Big Mom likes to fight, she uses those homies to her advantage. I don't think she's allowing Aokiji to get in close enough to freeze, at least not with Prometheus just like being right there and just thawing her out right away. Like,
and I would also say Big Mom, even if Big Mom didn't have her homies with her, even just fighting Big Mom by herself, like no homies, is still a daunting task. Like, she's got maximum durability, like on par with Kaido's, regardless of which one you think may be slightly better or worse. But they're on the same level in terms of durability. We know she can use Conqueror's coded swords attacks, and she's proficient in using her swords. So like, even if you get rid of one or two of her homies, that's not like an easy, like that's not just an instant win for Aokiji, because he still might just lose the one-on-one fight because he's not stronger than she is. From what we've seen, she has stronger hockey, and her durability is on a completely different level. So even if her homies are gone, she by no means just loses the 1v1.
All right.
Well, we got some good points, but we haven't let Zaki said anything.
Yeah,
that's true. My bad. Bro.
I don't want to keep cutting him off, bro.
Back and forth going crazy, you know.
It's all right,
bad,
Zaki.
bro.
It's on you, man. You got this. It's your stage. Who you got? What diff? And why?
I definitely I definitely have the Yonkos here, extreme diff, but I think we have to talk. We have to get the elephant out the room, and it's not Big Mom, right? Because there is a weakest link here that we have to speak about, right? When it comes to portrayal and how people are like seen and like the attacks they've taken, right? Aokiji is not on that same level of portrayal as Akainu, even though they fought for 10 days. Aokiji can't do the same things Akainu can, right? You had Jozu catch him off guard, bust his lip. You had Marco fly in, kick him in the side. When those two people tried to do the same things to Akainu, he literally walked through them, right? So we also have to take into effect, like, Big Mom here, if whoever's Big Mom is facing, she's honestly winning. Especially, like, most of you guys are going to put Akainu against Kaido, right? Just because he's the stronger of the two because he won, right? But I think we have to put respect on Big Mom's name here. They were only able to take out her homies with massive amounts of teamwork and the OP no Mi, right? They had to make a whole plan to get their homies out the paint. And this is like 4 people, right? You had Killer, Eustace Kid, Zoro, and Law all trying to take out the homies at the same time with Law's power. And even then, they didn't do it all the way. Like, Prometheus was still standing, right? So I don't think you can just, especially if it's a 1v1, if 𝐓𝐽𝐸 decides to dedicate his time to taking out one of the homies, Big Mom is going to crack this guy. Like, let's be honest. Like, if you divert your attention, we've seen in these fights between top tiers, like, as soon as you divert your attention, you're gonna get damaged. So if you have 𝐓𝐽𝐸 trying to like play around, trying to take hair out the paint, trying to take Prometheus out the paint, then it's just looking bad for him, honestly. And when it comes to Kaido, I do believe that Akainu can tangle with him, but we've just seen so much more from Kaido, and you have to kind of, like, let's say like Akainu, what does he have, or Kaido, what does he have on his side, right? We know he has future sight when he decides to use it, right? And we know that his dragon form, as much as it's a meme, he can definitely make it so fast that it can dodge Snake Man, like off rip. Like once he's using future sight, he immediately caught Snake Man, something only Katakuri was able to do with future sight, and just bust his ass like that fast. And this was a smaller version of the dragon. I don't know if you guys noticed that in that panel, right? So his versatility with his devil fruit is insane, especially if we're talking about elements here. Both Big Mom and Kaido have mastery over different types of elements that just help them not be taken down by one or two. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you have Big Mom fighting 𝐓𝐽𝐸, she's going to use her mastery of flame with Prometheus to essentially bring out his weaknesses. Like, we've seen how 𝐓𝐽𝐸 dealt with fire when he was up against Ace. So Prometheus is a big help on Big Mom's side here, and I just don't see, because are there any stipulations here, by the way? Like,
No.
So yeah, I just see Big Mom beating 𝐓𝐽𝐸, and then Akainu with Kaido, probably they go back and forth. The fight's gonna be long enough until Big Mom ends up joining in on a 2v1. I put Big Mom a lot higher than I put 𝐓𝐽𝐸.
Okay.
As you should.
Agreed.
I don't have a problem with anybody putting Big Mom over 𝐓𝐽𝐸. I think the level that y'all, or that Zaki more specifically, seems to think indifference is a lot higher, in my opinion.
I just put a lot of stock into that
fair.
scene where they show Akainu walking through 𝐬𝐭 commanders like it's nothing. Like, a 𝐬𝐭 commander has never actually put hands on Akainu, but we've seen Marco hit 𝐓𝐽𝐸. We've seen Jozu hit 𝐓𝐽𝐸. So I also put Akainu higher than 𝐓𝐽𝐸 just for that.
So that's fair, but like, again, there's circumstances to everything. When Akainu got hit by Marco and Vista, he was like focused on like Ace and Luffy. When 𝐓𝐽𝐸 got hit by Joe's, he was facing off with Whitebeard. This is a different level of care and attention. Focus on like the dude you're fighting.
On the Marco situation.
And I've also seen 𝐓𝐽𝐸, he just froze Cracker like Cracker was nothing in the cover story a couple chapters.
Yeah, we don't know exactly
that.
how that went, though.
I mean, we know how it went.
He just showed up and took her.
I'm just saying,
there's no fight
freezing
there.
freezing Cracker doesn't give you any points towards freezing Kaido.
But my point is, neither does walking Cruel or whatever Akainu did. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like,
let me put it in perspective though, real quick, right? So you said that he was Marco, or 𝐓𝐽𝐸 was dealing with Whitebeard when Joe's ran up on him. What about when Marco ran up on him while he was distracted by an injured Luffy? It's the same situation.
Did he take actual damage? Like, I saw Big Mom get knocked and rolled to the ground by Jinbei and
when he got kicked in the side, by Marco, he was spitting out blood.
Was he? I don't remember that.
Yes.
Listen,
look at the scene. I got every panel
I'm
pulled up
probably
here.
the biggest Marco fan in this little group chat right here. I will take that. But I don't remember him spitting blood from the Marco situation. I remember him leaking blood from the Joe's hit. The Marco thing, I just remember him getting up, no problem.
It's because you've been around Larry disrespecting Marco for so long that you forgot.
Seb will take any Marco W's.
Anyone. I need them, bro. They don't come often.
There's not a lot.
The Marco slander is starting to seep in.
No, I'm serious. Did he make 𝐓𝐽𝐸 bleed for real?
I'll put on the panel for you. One sec.
I don't remember that. But cool, bet. I'll take it. I'll take it. But we also know that like Future Sight was probably used by Akainu in that moment where he didn't take damage. And we also know you need to activate it. And again, if he didn't have it activated, like you get caught, bro. People get
We giving Akainu Future Sight?
I do
I mean,
because of the
I think he
Marco
has
and
it.
Vista moment. Because of the Marco and Vista moment where he was like hockey use.
Yeah.
Like,
to
to
be
me,
fair, you
what
also have
else
to
was
assume
that?
Aokiji has Future Sight too, because he was able to form around the attack similar to Katakuri.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I assume
so
they both have it.
I think that all three admirals have like they showed a mission, which is pretty much Rio, so they have that level of armament, and they it seems like everyone has that Future Sight as well, but I would say that it doesn't matter when it comes to Kaido, because even when Luffy was using Future Sight after fighting Katakuri, who's a very proficient Future Sight user, I would say that he wasn't even able to dodge fast enough, even though he saw the future. So I just think that Kaido's speed is on a completely different level. So I don't think it would have mattered.
Kaido seems like the fastest person in this fight.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
for sure.
I think there's a base difference in strength, and then when you go to look at their skills, the Yonkos still come out with an advantage at the end of the day.
Agreed.
I think we're not taking into account battle IQ either, though, because these guys are Marines. They're trained in tactics in battle IQ.
Better
it's gonna-
battle
it's-
IQ than Kaido, though.
Yes.
Right.
Whoa. Okay. Wait. No.
yeah.
Okay. Wait.
But even in terms
Not
of
not only is it battle IQ against Kaido, it's
Big trash
two
too.
former admirals. Their battle IQ against two pirates with conquerors. They're not gonna be the two pirates are not gonna be planning. They're gonna be clashing at some point, so they can use that to their advantage as well.
But my point is,
I think that the fact that Akainu and Aokiji's fruits are actively in like defiance of one another.
Yeah,
will
they
not
cancel each
help
other
them
out.
in this fight. I feel like it's weird nobody brought that up. Like the fact that
Well,
the
I mean,
two
they
of them
probably-
using their abilities.
but that's
is,
what I
like,
was gonna say. Like in
not
terms of
gonna help
like even in
each
terms
other.
of teamwork, like
Yeah.
even if Big Mom and Kaido don't sit down and make a plan right before the fight, they fought together for an extended period of time.
Very
I know
well, by the
Kaido
way.
got
But
his devil
Akainu and
fruit.
Aokiji have too.
Right. But like I said, they're already stronger, and they both fought for extended period of time together. They know each other to, at least a high degree, and they're familiar with each other's abilities. So they're already stronger. Their abilities already give them an advantage in terms of fight in almost every category, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't see where the admirals, like, regardless of planning, like even and I know Seb's a big Kingdom fan, and you'll see even in the face of the greatest tactics you've ever seen, if you can't overcome a sheer difference in power or strength of the individuals, then it doesn't work out all the time.
Yeah, hold up, party. You better not be referencing Reboku.
You know what I'm talking
You
about.
better
bro.
not. All right?
You saw what happened.
We know who the GOAT tacticians are, and it ain't him.
Right, I'm not saying,
all
but
right?
that's what even the goated tactician took his L in the face of a difference in individual power, is my point. So even with the best of tactics, if you're just not on the same level in terms of ability, tactics can only go so far.
Okay. All right, guys, we got to get another group in here, and I got to read off super chat here. So I appreciate all y'all takes. Is anybody switching their vote before I drop y'all?
Hell no.
Nah.
No. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it all, you guys. Zachy, love having you on here, man. I seriously do.
Strong
Y'all
defense
don't
for Inosuke.
already subscribe to Zachy and Nerd Taku's channels. Please do. They put out fire content. All right.
Yeah,
Shit,
Blackbeard
the
top
love.
one.
Oh man, don't say that.
What did he say? What did he say?
He said Blackbeard top one.
Oh God! Don't subscribe.
He said some wild stuff.
All
This
right,
was
man.
a really good debate, guys. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah. It's currently 5-3. I'm trying to think.
All right, see ya.
Yeah.
See you guys. So they're winning the
We have 6 more people.
vote on the YouTube pretty heavily, but I think we should probably get another group here to get some confirmation here.
Yeah.
So we'll go with Javerse,
There's a bunch of them.
Sprags.
I'm just gonna bring in everybody.
I'm
I'm just gonna bring in everybody.
and Chris.
That
Everybody?
that didn't go.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Just cause it just makes the most sense at this point. There's a couple more people than usual, but I feel like this is necessary just to get it out the way, you know?
Yeah, that's fine. All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the DDT. Yeah, for those of you that know, y'all know what it is. It's a who you got, what diff, and why. Today we're debating Kaido and Big Mom versus Akainu and Aokiji. Right now, Kaido and Big Mom 5-3. So I'm gonna go to each of you guys one-on-one. Please stay muted until you're called on. But we'll start with my guy Messy here. What's up, man?
So what's up? So I have the Yonkos extreme diff, and firstly I want to push back on Shin's point he said about Whitebeard, about how he couldn't affect Punk Hazard, because Marco states in Marineford that Whitebeard was holding back. He states if they weren't there, Whitebeard would get out all right. Like, if only we weren't here, Whitebeard could go all out, so he was confirmed to be holding back in Marineford. I also want to say Haki is over Devil Fruits, so Aokiji and Akainu turning the island to like their elemental Devil Fruits is kind of pointless because Haki's over it, so you can't really use that. And we know Kaido from the show, like apart from like the legends like Roger, Whitebeard, Garp and stuff, Kaido has had the best Haki we've seen. And from the feats shown as well, I think Kaido's just has miles better feats. And even Shank said, if it's a one-on-one, bet on Kaido. So if Akainu and Kaido were to fight, we saw Akainu getting done in by an old Whitebeard who had like every disease under the sun. Also, I think Akainu scales above 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐰, and I think 𝐓𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐰 is the weak link here, because if we look at the damage they took in their 10-day fight, 𝐓𝐓𝐭𝐦𝐰 lost an arm and a leg, and from all we've seen from Akainu is that he just has a scar from the fight. So I think Big Mom would slam 𝐓𝐓𝐭𝐦𝐰, not like slam, but like would get rid of him first, and then they would both just team up on Akainu, and obviously that's two people you don't want to team up, really. And one more thing for the people saying because they lost to like Luffy and the Worst Generation and stuff, the only reason Kaido lost to Luffy is because of plot. Oda Gear 5 has reality manipulation and common sense defiance, and common sense is that Kaido would win, but because Luffy defies common sense, he's obviously come out on top with the win. So that's my case. I'm done. Let somebody else go.
All right. Good points, Messy here. I know we always disagree on my boy Dofi, but good takes, man. Good take here. Oz.
What's up, boys? I'm clean now. I'm good.
You showered up, bro. You was dripping, bro.
Well,
You
you
feel
think I'm messing with y'all when I say I go to the gym, bro? Come on now.
Was it leg day, though?
No, it was cardio day.
Okay. Yeah, you was running, bro. You was sweating buckets, bro.
I'm starving right now. All right, so quickly, I got Kaido and Big Mom. It's like, the only real argument I have right now, which I'm guessing somebody already brought it up, is that when we saw Akainu versus Whitebeard, Akainu was licking against Whitebeard, and it was stated in Marineford that Whitebeard wasn't able to use his Conqueror's Haki that much because of his, he was dying, basically. So he wasn't able to use it, and we saw that when he tried to save Ace, and then he got a little heart attack, and he had to stop real quick. Now we're talking about Kaido, right? This monstrous ass Oni, sorry, my bad. This Oni that has probably one of, if not still, the best mythological devil fruit that we've seen yet. Obviously, Luffy's is going to be better, but give him some time. And Akainu and 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐰, no, bro. And then you got to add Big Mom to that when she's got Prometheus, Hera, and no, bro. Like the last thing that we seen from 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐦𝐰 too was him like the last fight at least was him versus Akainu. I don't think he's had any other fight afterwards, has he? Like that we know of. So I can't really give him like.
He like froze Dofi and then like body.
No, I'm talking about an
cracker,
actual.
but
Like,
yeah,
I'm talking
I
about
got you.
yeah, I'm talking about an actual clash. So like, I can't really give him like, oh, he's definitely gotten better. He might have gotten a little bit better, but he hasn't gotten better to the point where him and Akainu are able to take on Kaido and Big Mom. I just don't see it, honestly. So yeah, I got Kaido and Big Mom. High diff. That's the highest I can go, to be honest.
All right. Appreciate the take, Oz. Ragnar.
Hey, what's up?
What up, Ragnar? I hope you appreciated the Jinbei cosplay the other day, man. That was for you specifically.
Don't worry. It's gonna make your time in hell just a bit better, son.
How's it going, man?
I'm pretty good, bro. I saw that you guys pulled me up earlier, but I was not next to my device. Sorry about that.
No, you good?
All right. So, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at this. Well, the conditions. Wait, it's the same conditions as usual, right? One has to be passed out.
No.
Both.
They both. You gotta beat both.
Oh my god. How did Big Mom and Kaido get back here? This is an English, really not.
It's a different bracket. It just is, bro. They just here.
I know. Shout out. Look. Shout out to the legend, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Kaido, D-Man, you know what I'm saying? And Big Mom, the mother of all things. I'm gonna go with the Admirals, unfortunately.
What? I'm shocked. I'm not gonna lie, I'm shocked. Not Ragnar.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just because and hear me out. It's just because specifically, I think elemental wise, the homies don't have much use in this fight, and I think that's fair. I think Akainu and Aokiji have way more like years working together than apart, if that makes sense. And they fought each other at a 10-day standstill. If anybody knows the hacks and tricks and anything that the other person has on their side, it would be them. Like Kaido and Big Mom have not fought together for over a decade. Listen, shout out to Big Mom and Kaido. I think they have great cooperation. Like they obviously have some really good battle tactics together, right? But I can only think about the amount of different tactics Aokiji and Kuzan probably made up when they were still coming up in the Marines together. And I think Akainu has enough actual AP to kill Kaido. And I'm not saying he could, I'm just saying he has it. I think Kuzan has enough skill and has the right ability to fully counter Big Mom, in my opinion. And yeah, that's where I say it's gonna be extreme diff, and Akainu dies because I want him to, and then Aokiji takes it.
All right, okay. Who kills Akainu?
Who kills Big Mom, because Big Mom is the strongest of all time. So
Big Mom? Oh god, you just said Kaido. I'd have respected it. But all right, appreciate the take, Ragnar. Sprags, who you got? What diff and why?
Yo, I would say Big Mom and Kaido got it high diff to extreme diff. And I'm taking it in like a path where it's like a lot of people are having all these speculations about the admirals, and I'm gonna allow it, have those expectations to the max, reversing the Yonkos. But the way I see it is I see it as like a matchup. Like I see Kaido taking on Akainu and Big Mom taking on the other one. And I see Big Mom using Prometheus to its fullest extent to maybe try to fight off the ice. Obviously not to like the max, but maybe to like a small degree, along with all the other hacks that she has. And then we see Kaido has like the magma dragon. So I feel like Kaido can like withstand the magma from Akainu to like a reasonable extent, to the point where they're able to like fight each other. And what Ragnar said beforehand, like each of them both kind of have like a past. They have like a past of working together. But I feel like overall, I feel like Kaido and Big Mom would take it. But yeah.
All right. Appreciate the take, Sprags. And I think this is your first time on, so welcome. I believe.
Yeah, it is. Nah, yeah, it
awesome, man. Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right. From a newbie to a veteran of 𝐓𝐻𝐻. How's it going, man? Who you got? What diff? And why?
You know me, professional Admiral hater. I got the 𝐸𝐭, high diff. No, I can't imagine what the Admirals could pull out to really get them to win against either of them. Like individually, I think both Big Mom and Kaido beat their respective opponents. Like I don't feel like either of them are going down. You know, like everybody said, both Big Mom and Kaido have like counters to both 𝐲𝐽𝐻 and Akainu. Or I guess not a counter for Akainu, but with his Flame Dragon, Kaido can definitely overpower anything that Akainu is throwing at him. It's just a one-sided, wash.
Oh, wash. You just said high to extreme. Well, you said high to.
I said high, yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know if about a wash, but okay. Appreciate the take, Jay. Chris.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Who you got? What diff? And why?
I got the 𝐸𝐭, Kaido and Big Mom. High diff. I almost want to say mid diff or extreme diff based on location. I think that what Akainu and 𝐲𝐽𝐻 got working for them is I actually love their abilities like together. I feel like just their abilities alone, even if you strip away the fact that they have been Marines together for such a long time, just work really well together in terms of being able to be used simultaneously to fight opponents. So like, for example, in Marineford, just that tactic of 𝐲𝐽𝐻 freezing the water and Akainu shooting down lava fist pumps into the ground, amazing. So I could see something like that being used in this fight if they have like a wide area to battle. But kind of like what 𝐓𝐻𝐻 said, I think that ultimately what it comes down to is despite Akainu and 𝐲𝐽𝐻 having great like battle chemistry together, which I do think helps out a lot. I think Ragnar was mentioned that as well. So I agree with the chemistry aspect. I just think that ultimately when it comes to defeating the opponent, KOing them, I don't think that Akainu and 𝐲𝐽𝐻 have enough to do that.
All right. That's a fair take. I aligned with a lot of what you just said. I think the battle IQ and experience does work in the Admiral's favor. I do want to push back slightly on whether their Devil Fruits will work together. Are they just completely, opposites?
So in the den, if I could add, I'm sorry. I was thinking like, okay, like if 𝐲𝐽𝐻 focuses on the surface level and Akainu attacks like the sky or something like that, not necessarily, them using their attacks at the same time at the same opponent. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Appreciate the take, Chris. Let's go to Villain, but before we do, Villain, I appreciate the $2 you sent on YouTube. You said hashtag Kaido Gang, so I have an idea of where you're leaning here. But how's it going, man? Who you got? What diff? And why?
I'm good, man. Much love. You already know. Okay, so let me be simple as I always am. I'm gonna keep it short for y'all. Everybody had really good points on like the side they were leaning on, and I went back and forth. At first, I had the 𝐸𝐭, and I heard a little bit of chat in the den, and I was like, okay, the Admirals, but I want to give another vote to the 𝐸𝐭. Let's make that official. Say Kaido on Big Mom. I'm gonna go high to extreme diff because I know we don't have any stipulations here, But like I said, just some of the points people were bringing out and stuff that could potentially happen would make it an extremely difficult fight, right? So, like I said again, I'm only going to go _Yonko because I feel like, let me just put one point out there. I feel like if Kaido goes into that flame dragon mode, we all know magma is hotter than fire, but how much can a Akainu really hurt him if he is in that form, right? Let's say, I don't really think he can do, I mean, he's going to do damage, but like I said, if Kaido brings that flame dragon out, it's going to be a little hard. And with Big Mom having Prometheus, I know Akainu has like an exact opposite fruit, but I'm pretty sure Prometheus could, how you say, unfreeze some stuff for him. Maybe if he gets the chance, if they let him go willy nilly about it, he got Big Mom's back. I do want to give like I said, another vote to the Yonko. I know there was a lot of like speculations, but I'm gonna go Kaido and Big Mom. I'll keep it all the way simple.
That's real. I think if you look at this fight and you're going Admirals with some speculation of what you assume that they can do, what you think they should be capable of, if you're looking at the hard facts and the hard on-panel feats and evidence, it's hard to lean away from the Yonko. So
I'm gonna Big Mom have that. They got actual feats, so I'm just gonna go with the top tier. And like I said, it's kind of game all day. I better put some respect on my guy's name.
All right. Looks like the Yonko are starting to pull away, but we'll get a couple. But before that, we did get a $5 super chat from Celestial Donkey. Appreciate you so much, CD. It says, Buggy no diffs all, #Buggy Gang, #Buggies #1. One day I'm gonna run a Buggy gauntlet. How much Buggy Gang really supports the guy. But we'll go on to Psycho. Psycho, what's up, man? I know you've been patient.
Can I go last? Because, I'm the king of speculation.
You want to go last? I can have you go last. It's two more ahead of you then.
I'm going to give it to the tag team champions of the world, Kaido and Big Mom, especially with that Hakai that Zoro blocked, the greatest one. Larry, take off your glasses when I'm talking. Lose them brain cells. And stop trying to look smart when I'm talking about One Piece. But
Larry looks good, man.
Big Mom, because 𝐴𝐽𝐻 technically isn't a pirate, isn't a marine, so he's a pirate. He gonna turn on the magma dog.
Oh man, he's gonna betray Akainu. Right? That's how it plays out for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 3-on-1, just like wrestling.
Oh man, Psycho always in his own world, man. But all right, another vote for the Yonko. They're definitely pulling away here. We'll go on to Who Man.
Yo,
what's up, man? How's it going? Who you got? What diff and why? Kaido and Big Mom, Akainu and 𝐴𝐽𝐻.
I'm about Traverse said it's a wash earlier. It definitely is feeling like it. I don't see how the Admirals could beat Kaido and Big Mom. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like you said, Seb earlier, you said there's not a lot of feats shown of the Admirals, and I think that yeah, that's basically what you can only really lean on. Like I'm holding down the Yonko high def.
Okay, appreciate the short and sweet take, Who Man. But all right, finally. Not that it really matters. Wild Canyon. I'm sorry. Who you got? What did? And I apologize, man. I know.
No, you're good. I already see the numbers, but I appreciate the ability to speak about it and kind of give my, maybe it might convert some people. Who knows? I guess with that being said, I'm for the Admirals. I was kind of going back and forth in the den, but I think overall, like, the ability to change the entire environment with your awakening, it's speculation, but we've seen with Punk Hazard that they are at least able to permanently affect the environment to their natural element. I think that's really crucial, especially with Big Mom. We know Prometheus and I guess Hera now are both based off of real life things, like, the atmosphere from the clouds or actual fire, like how we saw with Madame Caramel when she made Prometheus or when she made a fire, quote unquote fire god. So with that being said, I think like if, for example, a kind of were to make the entire environment a magma field, it would inherently nerf someone like Hera, where she's based off of water vapor, completely evaporating her or making her small enough, like Zeus was, where she wouldn't even be a problem for the entire cast. In my mind, in this fight, I kind of see the admirals constantly changing the weather, like going ice, going volcano, going ice, going volcano, or even at like maybe even like splitting the island into half, like they did in Punk Hazard, and having like their own domains. So like these _𝐲𝐿𝐴s are like kind of having the entire island be like their enemy, because at any point, kind of like Katakuri during the Mirror World, they can make any part of the island kind of shoot out their ability because it's all them, right? So that's kind of like where I see the big like hurdle for the _𝐲𝐿𝐴s. We know that we know that the admirals can use Rio because we saw them project the outwards barrier when Wiper uses his Quake Fist in Marineford. So we know they have advanced armored hockey. We don't know if they can actually like do what Luffy does and actually like hurt the internal body like Luffy did or Rayleigh did. But I'm willing to give them benefit of the doubt because they are like high tiers, and Akainu literally is the strongest member of the Marines from the world government standpoint. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he has internal damage. So I feel like they can heavily affect Kaido. Sorry to go so long, but I know like Oda also has explained that he believes Akainu's fruit is the strongest, most powerful devil fruit in the world, where it has the most destructive capability. I think with that and Rio, it can easily damage both. It can easily bypass both Kaido and Big Mom's defenses. So with that being said, all things considered, they have really good, like people said before, they have good battle IQ together. They've been working together for many years. They're literally in a military group together, so they have the military discipline. Kaido and Big Mom have said multiple times they hate each other. They're in the fight in Roof Piece. We've seen multiple times where Kaido kind of disregards Big Mom's comments, or doesn't really take it seriously, like when he got hit by the Red Rock, or when he almost got hit by Zoro's attack, when it sliced down the horn in Onigashima. So I feel like there's a little bit of disparity between their teamwork, and it kind of just like freeball it a lot. So that's kind of my thought process behind that.
Cam, that was a great take. Honestly,
Thank
you brought a lot of really good and interesting points. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think I know I said earlier that on panel feats they don't have much, but they got something. They got some stuff, and if you look at some of the things that they've done, you can use that to speculate that they can win this matchup. And some people have argued it. You argued it probably the best that I've heard. So, but I appreciate the take. Quavo, low key, I forgot. I skipped you, bro. My fault. I apologize. I don't know. It looks like you're deafened, so I don't even know if you can hear me. But if you want to give your take, let me know. Go to you now, or I'll go right to Larry. It looks like we don't got Quavo. All right, Larry, it's on you. The people have been patiently waiting.
Yeah.
Who you got? What div?
I have Kaido and Big Mom Extreme Div. Only because it's Akainu and Aokiji. I think that when we look at these two people, it's always been _𝐲𝐿𝐴 over Admirals for me. But since they fought each other, I think they put themselves not a tier above, but they're definitely stronger than the Fuji and Green Bull and even now the Kizaru. And I put Kizaru pretty high with them as well because he's an OG. I think if Big Mom fought, Big Mom and Kaido fought any of the other admirals, then it would probably be high diff. Just because they didn't have that respective fight to push them further up the ladder. And I get what a lot of people are saying. I think a lot of the points that are made, I was going to make too. I do think that Akainu and Aokiji would probably hinder each other during the fight because their devil fruits are polar opposites of each other. I agree too that Big Mom would just probably turn their abilities into homies, and then she'd probably make them fight each other with their own abilities. But hockey over everything, right? So even if they try to turn the island into their respective natures, they most likely wouldn't be able to affect whatever Big Mom or Kaido was, like wherever they're standing. I think that, their hockey would force them out of that position. And even if so, that means that if Aokiji turns the landscape to whatever he's going to do it, right? Then that only probably leaves Akainu a little bit of room to fight where he's going to fight, because if not, he's going to be affected by the ice itself, and it's going to work and vice versa, right? To a degree. I mean, it's Big Mom, man. Like, it's Big Mom, it's Kaido. These guys are in a different league for a reason. And Admirals didn't pull up to Wano. And that was because of who? Big Man himself. The attack power thing is weird, right? Like, the attack power is always going to be focused on the devil fruit. That's what Oda was specifically talking about. But this is, you know, I always reiterate this. When you get to a certain tier within One Piece verse, strength-wise, devil fruits come second, and then Haki comes first. So, if Akainu's AP is the strongest when it comes to his devil fruit, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the strongest in the verse attack power-wise, because now we're in the Haki game. So his Haki has to match his devil fruit or be above that in order to compete with people like Kaido, who has a lesser AP in his devil fruit, but his Haki is just so overwhelming. And I think that makes the most sense. Other than that, you know, I don't see Akainu developing a fist the size of Onigashima and the Haki following with it. But he's definitely up there. I think Akainu right now is top 5. He should be. But I still think he needs a little bit more to go in order for him to reach the Kaido and Big Mom level. And I think that Big Mom is always going to seem like the person that's the most inconsistent out of the 4. But that's also because of the way Oda wrote her. He didn't write her with the necessity of producing Haki level feats. Like, at the end of the day, she still wasn't beat by Kid and Law. She was ringed out. You know, like, if that bomb is not there, she gets back up, she goes up and she destroys both of them. And she has still strength left over to go to the rooftop and fight with Kaido. Like, people don't remember, like, that's what she would have done. She can fight for days. And that's the point too, where, like, I really respect Akainu and Aokiji in comparison to, like, the rest of the admirals. These are the only 2 guys who have fought for 10 days. That speaks a lot. And that's one of the reasons why we downplay Luffy. Even now, Luffy beat Kaido, but we know if they fought again, Kaido will most likely win. And it does come down to stamina. So, I think it's extreme only for these 2. Every other admiral, it'd be high. And Green Bull is probably, like, mid.
Alright.
That's my take.
Larry, that was well said. I agreed with a lot of what you said, too. For me, I think it's extreme diff. I was going either way with it. You guys know I rank the Admirals higher than most people, especially my boy Akainu. And I really wanted to go Admirals. I really did. Because Aokiji is one of my favorite characters. But I do think it's Kaido and Big Mom. And I do want to say that I think that this would be, like, one of the... It would, like... I don't want to say surpass God Valley as far as, like, the craziest fight in the history of One Piece. But it'd be up there. Both of these people, all 4 of these combatants can fight for days on end. They all have advanced Haki capabilities. They all have awakened Delphi. Except, I mean, I guess you can argue with Kaido and stuff, but what he's capable of is basic awakenings regardless. The way he's able to utilize his Delphi and how he can fight. Future Sight, you know, they basically have every single ability in the game. Elemental abilities that cancel each other out, clash with each other, island morphing of capabilities, weather manipulation, tanking abilities beyond, like, it's crazy what these people can. So I think the fight would last for days on end, maybe 5 to 10, maybe even 15 days, depending. But ultimately, I do think that the Yonko are a little more versatile, and just in generally, I think they're stronger. I do think there is an avenue to take one out. There was an avenue for the Admirals to win, but it would be Akainu fighting Big. Because I believe Aokiji could stall Kaido. I think Akainu can beat Big Mom in a fight. But that's me. You know, I'm not the biggest Big Mom guy, although she is a powerhouse. But I got the Yonko. Damn, I wanted to say Admiral. So I got the Yonko. I do. It hurts my heart to say it. Those are my guys. ultimately, we saw what Kaido was doing on the roof, man. After all that, you know, he was able to fight and defeat even Gear 5th Luffy. Almost, anyway. And ultimately, we don't have any singular attack or move or capability from the Admirals that makes me think, oh, well, they can win the fight with that. Like many said, even if they freeze Kaido or Big Mom, they can use Haki to get out of it. If Dofi can get out of it, if even just in general using their abilities to get out of it, doing that. I don't know about Big Mom with the homie situation per se, but it's always interesting. You know what I mean? And I'll just say this: Kaido and Big Mom were ranked higher in this seeding for a reason. They're Yonkos. I hate to say it, but it is Yonkos over. But only so much. Only by so much. But
Yo,
what's up, Chris?
I'm sorry to cut you off. My bad, Sam. I just wanted to, I just want to give like a round of applause to Larry for probably his best take he's ever had.
I was thinking that he had good takes.
Yo, listen.
But
it was clean.
Nah, 99.9% of what Larry said, I agree with. The only 0.1% like I push back on a little bit is that the fighting for days when it comes to Luffy. Now the Luffy fight for days thing, all of Luffy's fights have been time sensitive, so he has to win in a certain amount of time. So we technically don't know if Luffy would be capable of that. But other than that, Luffy was spitting. I'm not sorry, not Luffy. Larry was spitting.
That's not true either, though, because at this point we're starting to see it's about how much Haki he outputs in those forms, right? So like, did he have a time constraint versus Kaido and Big Mom on the rooftop? No.
I mean, Gashima.
No, he didn't have a time restraint though. It was, yo, I'm gonna go all out from the get, which he did, and then he ran out of Haki, and they had to protect him. So he can fight for days, cool, but it's like, okay, is he eating biscuits? Probably.
But at the same time, we also don't know if like 𝐲𝐽 and Akainu were outputting their Haki throughout the entire 10-day fight. They could, they could have been like using their Haki a little bit more strategically. Whitebeard ran out of his Haki during the war. I don't think the war lasted more than a couple hours.
That has more to do with Whitebeard being sick, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was stated.
When was it stated? Was it at the very beginning or like towards the end when he was taking heavy damage?
Can you
I'd have to go through again, but they did mention Whitebeard just couldn't use Conqueror's Haki because like the toll it would take on his body. And then when Sword stabbed him, they said he'd usually be able to dodge something like that or like sense it coming.
Don't believe nothing Javerse has to say. He straight up lied on.
No, he's not. Marco
in the Discord. Straight up lied.
Off my meat.
Straight up lied on my man's Dofi in the Discord today with no shame.
Listen, we're not talking about Dofi. Stop playing, Davey.
When it comes to Luffy, if he has food, like he can last forever. But other than that, like I said, Larry, that was an amazing take, man. I agreed with everything you said.
Thank you, man. But you're still wrong on Luffy lasting for days, bro.
Well, food?
I mean, food is different.
How long did he last against Katakuri? Wasn't that like 12,
that was like
8 hours, 12 hours?
Yeah, but
Fracture was a long time.
Yeah, but he still had to leave. He still gassed out.
And had to rest up. Yeah.
That was tragic. He like ran, stalled for like an hour or so. Then he would like come back and fight with his Haki, and then.
But that's where it comes into play, right?
For days if he wasn't using Gear 4, because like that's what's usually gassing him out in this situation.
Exactly.
If he doesn't use Gear 4, I'm pretty sure he could fight for days. Because I mean, like Ace has done it. I don't see why Luffy wouldn't be able to.
Well, again, it's just the amount of Haki output that's happening. And when you verse people of this tier, you have to be able to compete with them in Haki. And since he can't just do it base form, that's what makes it really hard for him to sustain that type of, Haki usage.
But he wasn't on that tier at that point, though. You know what I'm saying?
So why did he just gas out like after 5 minutes of fighting Kaido?
He went all out. He went all out.
Exactly. He has to do those things. That's why he gassed out. So it just means that the more Haki you use, the less you're going to be able to fight. But when you're up into the degree of Big Mom and Kaido, who can just use it effortlessly, like Odin did, it shows what Zoro went through too. He couldn't fight for a long time, and he had a very time-sensitive schedule before he could defeat King. It just comes down to that.
I'll say it's kind of like you know, it wasn't as if Kaido from the very jump used his flame dragon transformation. You know, he waited to the very end to use it. And so when I think of probably how the Ikainu Aokiji fight happened, I don't think they went all out from the very beginning. You know, they probably took their time with it, and eventually became a willpower battle.
That's all it ever comes down to, bro. That's why Blackbeard is bottom 10.
See, I was just about to compliment you, Larry. I was about to say, yo, those glasses are making you do it right, and then you just had to bring Blackbeard down.
Had to ruin it. Had to ruin it.
You had
Right,
to.
y'all.
You had it. You
We
had
have
it,
to
Larry.
go to our next matchup, which is Mihawk and Shanks versus Whitebeard and Odin. This was
easy,
very interesting matchup. That I'm very curious as to what you guys have to say about it. And this is Prime. Everybody's Prime. All right.
Okay.
So we will start with Wild Canyon because he ended the last one. Actually, hold on, Wild Canyon. Quavo, you here or nah?
No.
No, I think he's tapped out.
All right. Larry, drop Quavo, man.
Yeah, you gotta give me a second, Brody.
It says it's deafened.
Yeah, he can't hear me. It's fine. All right. Canyon.
All right, hello. So I'll give my so I think it's the Sworn Brothers. I think it's Whitebeard and Odin. I think it's extreme diff. I think at this point every battle's gonna be extreme diff. But for me, I think Prime Whitebeard is the strongest individual on the planet of One Piece. I think minus Rocks, maybe minus Roger, Goldie Roger, but I think Whitebeard is like literally top 3. He might be top 1. And with that being said, you know, we don't know if Mihawk has Conqueror's Haki, but we know that the Sworn Brothers group, Odin and Whitebeard, both do have Conqueror's Haki, so they kind of have that boon. You know, they have a Delphi user. I know that Haki is everything, but I feel like when you're someone like Whitebeard, we have such a high level of Haki, and now you add it with a Delphi, that kind of really bolsters your group a lot. The fact that Odin was able to basically in the manga one-shot a prime Yonko candidate like Kaido. I know it was 20 years prior to him being where he is now, and Odin did say get much stronger because you're gonna need it. But I just feel like Odin like resonates that energy. Like he, even from a child, he kind of had this like inhuman, like this Yonko-based kind of growth, because we know from Big Mom and Kaido, our previous candidates, they both were monsters when they were children. And it seems like Odin followed that same philosophy when he was a child. Even though his parents were relatively normal, he was born an absolute beast, kind of following that Yonko trajectory. So I feel like with that being said, it's kind of like it's just two monsters versus a monster, and then like a person who can use the sword pretty well. So I don't know if Mihawk is ready to scrap with Odin. I think Odin's gonna break that blade. So for me, it's definitely extreme diff, but I think the Sworn Brothers group is just way too powerful.
Love the Mihawk hate. Love it.
Is Seb gone?
Yeah, he's a little bit gone. Thank you for your take, bro. Appreciate it. While he's just restarting his internet. How about we go with Oz next?
Well, y'all know me. I'm a definite Mihawk hater. He ain't shit. So I definitely got Whitebeard and Odin. I mean, Odin had that harem. That's all I gotta say, man. What are we doing here? It. I don't like Mihawk, and I got Odin over Mihawk, Whitebeard over Shanks. So that's simple. I'm sorry, Mihawk ain't shit, man.
All right.
You mind if I go next after Hop Out Zone?
He ain't, bro.
Yeah, Chris, go.
You got Whitebeard over Shanks, my lord?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Chris, you could go.
Yeah, so I had to hop out soon, so appreciate that. It's very tough. I think for me, I'm trying to figure out whether I view Odin in the same way I kind of view Ace joining Whitebeard's crew. You know, Odin is definitely born a monster, definitely talented. And I question whether him joining Whitebeard's crew and then Roger's crew may have hindered his him reaching his potential. And I'm leaning towards it doing so. You know, there is value in being able to see Whitebeard and Roger up close and learning from them and growing from them. But if you are consistently not put in a position to fight the strongest individuals, then I feel like your hockey isn't blooming as much as it could be, which is exactly how you ace. So I think I got Mihawk over Odin, to be honest, because Mihawk has always been by himself. And he's Clash of Shanks. In my opinion, and I think Shanks is the closest thing to Whitebeard that we currently have in this verse. Oz, you want to say something real quick?
Oh no, I just you said that Mihawk and Shanks clashed multiple times, but I'm already sure it's already been stated. It's only been one clash. That was it.
Mihawk and Shanks. Oh, I thought they had like duels like over and over again. My bad. Maybe I'm misremembering. But I got Shanks the closest thing to Whitebeard. And honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, I'm team next generation over past generation. And so I think Shanks is actually closer to Roger than he is to Whitebeard. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for that. Because to me, just narratively speaking, I just don't see Luffy surpassing Shanks and giving Shanks' hat being as amazing of a moment as Shanks is still weaker than Roger and Whitebeard. Like, how would we know that Luffy has surpassed Roger just by being the next one to find the One Piece? Like, I feel like there just has to be something that really, really shows that Luffy is now definitively that guy. Like, he is stronger than Roger. And I feel like Shanks is the character to like kind of prove that for Luffy. With all that being said, though, I think because of Whitebeard's Devil Fruit abilities, I would still give it to Whitebeard and Odin. But I think it's a lot closer than it seems. So I give it Extreme Diff, Whitebeard, Odin. I do have Mihawk over Odin, like I said before. I think Shanks is as strong as Whitebeard, if not barely weaker or barely stronger, but he's on that tier, in my opinion. But I think when it comes down to just Whitebeard's crazy Devil Fruit, I think that would just be too much for like Shanks and Mihawk to handle.
All right, my fault, y'all. My internet was acting up. I missed basically everything that was said until just now. Larry, you said that was 3 votes for Whitebeard and Odin, or that was 2 just now?
This is 3 now.
It's 3 now? Okay. And who went before Chris?
Oz,
Canyon, and Chris. Okay. All right. Let's go with Ragnar.
he's not here.
Oh, Ragnar's gone?
Yeah, I pushed him down. You told me to push him down.
Larry, Seb,
Ragnar-
see y'all. Have a good rest of the show.
Well, I thought he said push down Nick, not
Yeah,
Ragnar.
Nick.
Oh, Nick, not Ragnar?
Yeah.
I thought he said Ragnar. My bad. Let me
It's
push-
still showing as Ragnar is here for me. Maybe my internet is still messed up.
I'll push Nick down then.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
No, Ragnar is here. He's
Yeah, he was here, right? Am I tripping? Yeah.
I'm here.
All right. Yeah, Ragnar. Who you got? What diff? And why?
I will say Mihawk, I think, is right now should be currently a better swordsman than Odin. And I think Shanks is a superior Conqueror's hockey user than the previous generation. Then again, I hold the current generation over the old generation. Most people put Roger top of all time, up with Kaido. I think Shanks would be able to hold off Whitebeard long enough for Mihawk to finish off Odin, even though that would be an extreme to high diff fight. I think Shanks could hold off Whitebeard for a few days, and I think Mihawk could actually defeat him in that time. Even though Mihawk could probably be severely injured and tired, with the help of Mihawk, I think they could take down the Gura no Mi monster, the devil himself, Whitebeard. So I put Shanks and Mihawk above. I think it's a high diff fight, but not an extreme diff fight.
All right. Fair enough. Psycho.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to make this point before I give my answer. So, since Big Mom and Kaido aren't Yonko, would you put Buggy and Blackbeard against Aokiji and Akainu? Since it's Yonko versus.
Buggy's an exception. But I guess you're talking to Larry specifically.
I'm talking to both of y'all. Yonko versus Admirals. The two new Yonkos versus. Oh, but you can't even put Aokiji in there.
To me, I don't think Luffy, Blackbeard, or Buggy, obviously, would beat Akainu in a fight. But that's me.
With Shanks?
Oh, you added Shanks into the fight too? Like you saying all the Admirals at once versus all the Yonko at once?
So you choose, since you say the three of them, so Shanks and Buggy can't beat Aokiji and Akainu?
No.
Taki and Buggy could get free range?
No. Buggy's too big of an anchor, bro. He's if Shanks got to worry about Buggy in a fight versus two Admirals, he's not winning it, bro.
Lord Sebas, you don't respect the guild.
Nah, I mean,
Anyway,
not
back to this.
that
I'm
portion
going
of it.
Shanks and Mihawk, 1A and 1B versus Whitebeard and Odin. Jesus, so diff is all speculation, and I'm gonna give it an extreme diff because I'm suspecting that Whitebeard and Odin are both less than prime right now because they're old.
No, they're prime. They're prime in the fight. 100% prime.
Well, I gotta still give it to Shanks and Mihawk because Zoro can't see his number one lose, and Shanks knows where the One Piece is.
All right, Psycho, I appreciate it. All right.
Larry, why you do that to me, man? Don't take off the glasses when you talking to me, Larry. You're losing brain cells. Take off the glasses when you're talking to me. Stop being smart.
Yo, Larry, don't do that. You don't even know, bro. You don't even know. You don't. I miss my glasses. All right, appreciate the take, Psycho. 𝐓𝐲𝐿, we finally got you back in here, able to speak.
My bad.
What's up? What's good,
I felt
bro?
bad. I was taking up a spot.
You could, man. You could.
Yeah.
But who you got? What diff and why? Shanks and Mihawk versus Whitebeard and Odin. Sworn brothers versus sworn rivals.
I think I got to go Whitebeard and Odin. My heart, it really wants to go with Shanks and Mihawk because of the narrative, the feats, whatever. But I just feel like Whitebeard, he's too strong. I mean, we see the durability from people like Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, but we haven't seen the durability of these swordsmen yet. Like, who knows if they can take attacks like we've seen Luffy give Kaido. Like, I feel like if Whitebeard just gets a hold of one of them, they're just dead, one shot. But that's the thing. They might be too quick for that. We don't know yet.
One shot, 𝐓𝐲𝐿?
Nah, I don't want to say one shot, but I mean, like, you see what he was doing with Akainu in the war. Like, I'm not even talking about Odin. Odin will just be on the side. He'll be cheerleading. But yeah, I just see the way Whitebeard was tanking all these attacks in Marineford, and I just don't know if they can keep up with them and tank these attacks like that. He's just too powerful.
All right.
I think if I gotta go diff, I think I'm gonna go high diff because I know I'm saying he could one shot, but I feel like they're too quick with the observation and whatnot. I feel like they're gonna like run around for a little bit, make it seem like it's close, but once he gets a hold of him, it's just one shot.
All right.
That's what I got.
Appreciate the take, 𝐓𝐲𝐿. Glad to have you in here.
Yeah.
Not on deafened.
Yeah, my bad.
That's all right. All right. Traverse. You already know the vibes, man. Who you got? What
Yeah.
diff? And why?
So, man, I was trying to find like any justification possible to have Shanks and Mihawk win this one. But, you know,
My
that little
boy.
thread that Heavenly Demon posted the other day about how strong Odin was had me, rethinking some things. But I'm gonna have to give it to Whitebeard and Odin.
Okay.
Extreme diff, and I just feel because it's how strong Prime Beard is. I still feel like he's maybe not like a whole tier above Shanks, but he's still ahead enough, right? Like I got Kaido over Shanks, and then Prime Beard right over Kaido. So that's like Shanks 2 steps below, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got nothing on Mihawk. We have more on Odin than we do have for Mihawk.
Big facts.
Now to Shanks' defense, right? Because this was a point I was going to use if I did lean towards Shanks and Mihawk. So his Vibrate card says that he eventually grows to become an equal to Whitebeard, right? And we don't know if that's Prime Beard or if they're talking about like current old Whitebeard. But if they are talking about old Whitebeard, right? In one data book, it says that like while Whitebeard is hooked up to all his medication, he still he still maintains all his strength, like he didn't fall off too much, and it allows him to still be the strongest. And that's the Whitebeard like on medication that Shanks clashed with.
Is that Vibrate card in reference to strength, or is it in reference to status in the world? Because they could just be talking about the fact that he became a Yonko. I'd have to read the Vibrate card, I guess, to get the context that they were saying that. But
I'm a Shanks fan, so I'm gonna say that it's referring to strength.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify.
But yeah, no matter like what kind of loopholes I try to jump through, it's gonna be Prime Beard and Odin.
Okay. I love the respect
Extreme diff.
for Prime Beard that people have. Love it. Right. Messy hair.
Yo, what's up? I'm gonna speculate a bit, but I'm gonna give it Prime Whitebeard and Odin. And the reason why is because I think, if you look at Enma, I think Zoro we saw how crazy Enma was with Odin and how much haki he has. So I'm gonna say Zoro will master Enma when he fights against Mihawk. And I think that would be like the thing that would happen there. But then it's also just Prime Whitebeard. We haven't seen enough. You can only speculate with Mihawks and Shanks right now. You can't really say they're going to be above Prime Whitebeard when he's, like Larry said it the other week, he's the only person to be able to explode the clouds. Like, their haki is like, and Wiping Island, their haki is just on a different level to everybody else's we've seen. So I think you can only get Shanks and Mihawk above by speculating. And obviously, we know what the Discord thinks about speculation. So, yeah, I've got Whitebeard and Odin. I'm going to say high diff against Shanks and Mihawk.
All right. Appreciate the take, Messy hair. And last but not least, Oz.
I already went, bro.
Oh, Oz won already? Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, see, this is what happens when you lose.
Everybody went.
Everybody went?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so I do want to say one last thing to Chris is in India right now, but like to his point that he thinks being on Roger's crew held Odin back a bit. But like the manga states, that's kind of the opposite. Like they said, he grew several times stronger than he was when he initially left Wano.
Yep.
So I mean, you could say he probably maybe could have grown even stronger if he was by himself. But they did state he's basically like a different man by the time he comes back to Wano and fights Kaido.
Bro, these Mihawk on YouTube, bro. Bro, like I'm sorry, can I just real quick question, bro? Like, what have we seen? Like, who have we seen Mihawk clash with that everybody just putting him up to a Yonko level, bro? Like another thing that everybody says is that because that's gonna be Zoro's ceiling, then Mihawk has to be incredible. But like, we can say that like if if people put Mihawk as like a first commander, if he were like a right hand man to Shanks, if he were in Shanks's crew, look at the level difference between what's his name, Roger and Rayleigh. Look at the difference between Luffy and Zoro. There's a huge gap. So I don't understand why people are trying to put Mihawk up to that level. Like I don't get it, bro. I don't see it, man.
Hey,
Also,
hey,
Hold on, y'all. The reason that is the reason that is Oz is that a lot of people don't believe that Zoro is that far off of Luffy, the way that you believe it, and
that's ridiculous.
Same with Rayleigh and Roger, and same with Shanks and Mihawk.
Marine Hunter.
Now,
what? Can I just back Oz's point a bit? To back this as well, talking about how it's narrative that Mihawk is obviously this crazy Yonko level. If it's because of narrative as well, that means Akainu would have to be above Kaido. So then the whole last round, people who were saying because of narrative would have to go back and change their vote. Because narrative-wise, it is looking at Akainu is going to be like this crazy monster that Oda has planned up. But so it's just to back Oz's point again.
It's fair.
No messy
Can I just come
here.
to Oz real quick?
Magma beats fire, like rock beats scissors, and paper beats rock.
Yo, I love Psycho, bro.
Psycho too much,
Marine Hunter.
Ain't no Marines
I
in here,
want Marines.
Maybe if they make it to the next round, they might fight a Marine.
Psycho, have you seen how weak most of the Marines are? Look at like Vice Admiral and below, they all trash. Like the only Vice Admiral that I didn't put in the part.
Larry, take off your glasses when I say
Yo, leave Larry Potter alone, bro. Y'all gotta leave Larry Potter alone.
Yo, all right, we gotta get another group in here, but I appreciate the takes, gentlemen.
Also, Larry,
thank
I
you
think the
guys.
glasses look nice on you.
They do,
bro,
right?
You look good in glasses, bro.
He's pulling it off.
Appreciate it.
One last thing before I get dragged out, Cracker slams Doofy.
Oh God, no. Absolutely not.
Traverse,
Absolutely not.
poison people.
Get them out of here, Larry. Get them out of here. All right.
So there's like.
Do you wanna?
There's
10
like people
11
overall. So I could drag in 5 people.
Yeah, let's do 5. Let's get Chestnut in here. She hasn't been here all day. Agent came recently. I'm trying to get a bunch of new people in here. HG, Agent, Chestnut, Napoleon.
You said HG. Why can't I drag him? Alright, wait. There you go. Agent, Chestnut, Napoleon.
Yeah, and S. Barnes.
S. Barnes.
I think you accidentally dragged me back in.
You dragged Traverse in there, bro.
I ain't dragged Diverse. He just came in, bro.
It was Napoleon.
Oh, damn. She found a shirt. Hold on. I'll go turn up my camera. Give me a sec.
I mean, you don't have to turn
Yo,
on your
Chestnut,
camera.
yo, what?
I just got home from the gym, man. But I saw some people hyping up Shanks, and I had to step in.
Had to get you in on this one, Chestnut. But all right, everyone, welcome to the DDT. I don't believe I've spoken to Napoleon or S. Barnes before. Is this you guys' first DDT?
I watch it pretty often, but yeah, this is my first time hopping on with y'all.
All right, appreciate the love, man. Really do. And we'll start with you. Who you got? What diff and why? Shanks and Mihawk versus Whitebeard and Odin, and everybody is in their prime. I want to reiterate that.
I need to understand the stipulations quick. Do you have to beat both people?
Yeah, everybody got to go.
Yeah, everybody got to get clapped? Okay.
Everybody got to get clapped.
All right, so I'm going to go Whitebeard and Odin.
Okay.
I have to give a difficulty, right? So I'm going to go... I'm gonna give extreme diff out of respect. I'm gonna give extreme
out of respect.
Out of respect.
But that's not what you feel. Yeah, that's not what you feel.
High diff. I feel high diff. Depending on how the story plays out, it might be a mid diff if Whitebeard is as strong as I think he is. but I'll give him. I'll settle on high diff. And this is because I don't listen. First of all, Whitebeard and Odin. First of all, Whitebeard and Odin are touted as physical freaks. I saw Whitebeard with cancer take bullets on bullets, spears on spears, a punch to the face by Akainu, and still die standing. And he got jumped by Blackbeard. Then I saw, what's his name? Odin swinging around Enma and whatever his other sword is named at the age of what, 5? This man was just handing out ass whoopings at 5? Okay. So these two are physical freaks. I do not know the durability of Shanks. Out of all the Yonko, he's the most normal. I definitely think he's strong, but how many shots can he take? I don't know about that. And Mihawk, I haven't seen this man train. I've mostly seen him sip on tea and beat Vista is his highest level opponent. So I don't feel that either what's his name? Mihawk or Shanks have done enough in the series for me to give them over a man who is damn near equal to the Pirate King. And then Odin, who took shots from Whitebeard and Roger, and then went on, even if it was a young Kaido, that's still Kaido. And yep, that's all my reasons.
All right. That's fair. Appreciate the take, Barnes. Japolian.
I got a question though. Is it Prime Beard?
Yes, everybody's Prime.
Oh, then I got Odin and Whitebeard.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna keep it simple. It's just because we've seen way more of Odin and Whitebeard than Shanks and Mihawk. I do think Shanks is the strongest right now, but that's just my opinion. But I don't know how many hits he can take, so I'm going with Prime Beard and Odin definitely.
All right. How about you, Ace?
You know for sure that I got Prime Beard and Odin. First things first, I love this matchup because I always believed that Mihawk can never beat Odin. I don't know why people think that. We've never seen these hockey levels. We know that Mihawk isn't even a conqueror in itself. With Shanks is gonna make it weird, but this is Prime Beard we're talking about. We didn't even see Roger beat this guy, so and we know how durable he is as well. And Mihawk, I know everyone likes the epithet that Mihawk's the world's strongest swordsman or greatest swordsman, but we know for sure now that he didn't even go to Wano, and we don't really know who he beat to get that title. So until I know who he beat to get that title, and I can gauge whether that person was stronger than Odin. This is the same Odin that was fighting Kaido. And I know a lot of people like to say Kaido wasn't in his prime at the time, but Kaido was a 40-year-old man who was strong as hell since he was a kid fighting in war. So I really highly doubt that he wasn't extremely strong at that time that he was fighting Odin. And Odin was holding his own until he got cheapskated, basically. Then you saw the whole way how he died, where he's just standing and boiling. Like, that's all these durability feats that go to Prime Beard and Odin. And then on top of that, they're their insane attack power. So, yeah, I think it's going to be, Mihawk is going to get taken care of pretty easily. Then it might be like a jumping situation with Shanks. But as Esperon said as well, like, we don't really know how durable Shanks is. So I have to give it to those two.
All right. Thank you for your input. Appreciate it. And then how about you, the amazing Chestnut Tanuki?
The amount of Shanks hype I'm seeing in your comments right now is absolutely baffling to me. Are we taking movie feats? Are we taking any movie feats?
No.
Okay, where are the feats? Where are the feats? Can't believe this, Larry. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe the Shanks sheep in your comments right now. But no, not you, Google. Listen. A weakened Whitebeard in Marineford was able to take massive amounts of damage. Like, his durability is off the charts. A prime Whitebeard taking on these two, we have not seen the attack power yet for them to beat them. Where's this attack power coming from? Like, Whitebeard went against all three admirals all of the Marines, a bunch of Warlords. Like, heck, he didn't even move when Mihawk put his sword towards him. Like this, like I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure that Whitebeard could probably high diff both Shanks and Mihawk together. But with Odin, like Odin's sword skill, especially when we're watching the Kaido fight, like he's gonna be able to. It's gonna be an extreme diff fight with him and Mihawk, and then Whitebeard is just gonna clean up the rest. I'm sorry, very easily, it's Whitebeard and Odin.
All right.
Also, hi Larry.
What's up? How are you? Glad to hear you guys' inputs. Is there any rebuttals to anything you guys disagreed with amongst each other? No? Everybody's keeping their votes?
This is sweet, bro.
It really is. Ace spitting, yeah. Wrap this up. Wrap
it up. All right. So what I'll end up doing is it's 11-2. Sebastian's currently gone for the second, so I'll just bring in the next group. This was pretty fast. So yeah, I'll bring in the next group and then we'll see what happens. All right. But thank you for your input, guys.
Bye, Larry.
Bye, Chestnut. Here we go. All right. So let's bring in Shin, Val, Toby. Hold on. Did Val not come in? Val, bring in Pete.
Oh yeah. Let's go. Finally.
I can't believe bring my boy Zach in here, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Zachy in here now.
Let's go.
But there's so many people here. Hold on.
There is a lot of people.
It was busting in that chat. I ain't gonna lie.
Shin was cooking, bro.
Who else have I don't have?
Shin was not cooking. He was just sharing.
Bro,
Shin was cooking. Do not hate.
I guess I'll get 𝐸𝐿𝐿 because he wasn't in here either.
All
All right,
y'all. Hold on.
So
I got my glasses on me now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's go. I found him.
All right, guys. So you know the drill. Who beats who? What diff and why? And we'll start.
Y'all should let Shin go first.
I disagree because we'll be here all day.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with Zachy first because he went last. So
that's fine with me.
All right, look. My opinion here is not too revolutionary. You know, I think Whitebeard and Odin take this, right? Because I think Odin is a lot more impressive than people give him credit for. Right? Because even before that, like we haven't really seen Kaido in that fight do anything to Odin, if you guys notice that. Like if you're reading the manga, right? He makes it through all the fodder, gets hit with a blast breath, falls back, no damage from the blast breath, and then just immediately cuts him out the sky. So you can't be like, oh, well, you know, he had a hard time against Kaido 20 years ago or anything like that. It seemed pretty easy from what we saw, right? So the hard thing here is are we assuming that Shanks has reached the level of Prime Roger and Prime Whitebeard? Like I don't think so, right? But if you are, and then you have to also do a lot of assuming for both of them here. You have to do some assuming for Mihawk, saying how strong he is, and you have to do a lot of assuming for Shanks. So that's why I'm taking Whitebeard and Odin, just because I think that we've seen the most feats from them, and yeah, honestly, I think this was the hardest matchup to argue, just because you have to do a lot more work to make an argument for the other side. But yeah, that's it. I'll just keep it short and sweet.
All right, that'll be 12-2 in favor of Whitebeard and Odin. 𝐸𝐿𝐿, I'll let you go next. What do you think, bro? 𝐸𝐿𝐿? All right, we'll switch to Pete. Let's go to Pete. Pete, what's your thoughts?
I'll keep it short and sweet as well. I think it's Whitebeard and Odin. We'll say extreme diff. Not to totally disrespect Shanks and Mihawk, but like I said, there's lots of speculation in this one, and you know that could be an endless dive. But what we've seen from Whitebeard, from what he was like in his prime, and from what we know, and from what we've seen from Odin, in the story, they're just more impressive than what we've seen from Shanks and Mihawk in terms of like individual combat ability. Like, sure, Shanks has shown cool stuff, but nothing to really show that he would not get overwhelmed by Whitebeard eventually. Whitebeard is just, the bastion of strength and hockey and just general toughness, that was out there clashing with Roger. And then Odin was no less impressive than Mihawk, because Mihawk doesn't really have any like feats against impressive people in the main story, except for what we speculate in his duel against Shanks. And you can draw from that what you will, but like Odin has just shown. I think he outclasses Mihawk just by a little bit in terms of raw power. You could argue sword technique, maybe one way or the other, but I think Odin has a slight advantage. And I think Whitebeard has a large advantage over Shanks. So I think.
All right. That's 13-2 now. Wait. Zaki said it. Yeah, it's 13-2. Balance, I think that's how you say your name, from what I remember. You available, bro?
Balenci.
There you go. My bad. What are your thoughts, brother?
Before I start, is it like a regular one person gets knocked out and then like they win, or they both have to die?
They both get knocked out. One team beats the other straight up.
Odin and Whitebeard. Yeah.
All right.
I don't see how Shanks and Mihawk is holding out against the prime beard, and then they got Odin. That's just too much.
Okay. That's 14-2. Whitebeard and Odin in favor. Toby, what's your thoughts, brother?
All right, bro. At first, I was thinking about it, but since everybody wants to divide Odin, fuck it. I'm going with Shanks and Mihawk. This is why.
Okay.
So, y'all think, all right, Zoro has Enema. He's gonna have to master Enema at some point. We see in the story that Zoro has adapted these swords very quickly. Enema is the most difficult story he's had to deal with. But if you think Zoro isn't gonna master Enema and surpass Odin before he gets to Mihawk, I don't know what to tell you. Odin, bro, it's gonna be stupid if Zoro surpasses Mihawk and they're like, yo, this samurai from 20 years ago is still stronger than you. It's just gonna be weird. Like that doesn't even sound right. And I don't even think Zoro is just gonna surpass Mihawk. I think he's gonna become the greatest swordsman in the series. I think him defeating Mihawk is gonna solidify that. So that's why I think that Mihawk is stronger than Odin. And while I do think Whitebeard is the strongest out of the four, I think Mihawk just like I think Odin's 𝐓𝐢𝐭 level. Odin's my third favorite character. Okay, I love Odin. I think he low-key just get mid-diff, like he gets mid-diffed by Mihawk. It just personally. And his biggest feat is against a young Kaido, who I think he was gonna beat, but we don't know how strong Kaido was at the time. He wasn't even that strong in the Vox crew, so it took him some time to get to where he was when he fought Luffy. So I think Mihawk beats Odin, and then they tag team Whitebeard. And I don't think Whitebeard is gonna be able to take on Shanks, who is top 5. Don't argue with me. He's top 5. Straight up. He's top 5. And I think Mihawk and Shanks are gonna jump Whitebeard. And that's the end of it. Straight up. I got Mihawk and Zoro, bro. Mihawk and Shanks, bro. Sorry.
All right. How about you, brother Shin? What do you think?
So
rolled up the sleeves, bro.
So this is what I'm gonna say, because I hear no matter what I say, like the outcome is not gonna change. Like it's gonna be. But let me just say this: I'm not even gonna keep it short and sweet. Against my logic, Shanks and Mihawk versus Whitebeard and Odin. Y'all can't tell me that Mihawk. If people want to say, "Oh, what about Vista? What about Jozu?" Like I said before, Mihawk was doing his job. When you go to work, you do not go balls to the wall. You do not try your hardest when you work in a 9 to 5. You be like, man, I'm gonna take it nice and easy. This is my job. I'm not gonna break a sweat. All that. Shanks and Mihawk. We know Shanks hockey feet. Like y'all be hyping that up like crazy. So I don't even got to talk about Shanks. Let's talk about Mihawk. Mihawk is Yonko level. I don't want to hear nothing else. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Yes, Prime Beard is strong. Do not get me wrong. Prime Beard might be the strongest man throughout the whole series besides Rocks. Odin, liability in this fight to me. Mihawk is stronger than Odin. And this is what I'm going to say. Odin, I was doing my research while y'all was talking. Odin was 39 when he died. He joined and that was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago he was 39. When do y'all want to say his prime was? Like when he was on the Roger Pirates or when he was on the Whitebeard Pirates? Because he joined the Whitebeard Pirates 30 years ago. That makes him 29. Then he died. No. Then he joined the Roger Pirates 4 years after he joined the Whitebeard Pirates. So that makes him what? 33? Let's say his prime around 29 and 33, because that's when he was really like out there. Odin, while he was out there, because he was selling for a minute while he was out there, never got a world strongest title. I don't even remember his bounty. If he got a bounty, I don't even remember. It probably wasn't even over $1 billion. Like, let's be honest.
Huh?
Shanks, his hockey feats amazing. I don't know if y'all want to take Film Red canon or not. His hockey is better than everybody that he's going against right now. I think his hockey was better than Whitebeard's. Let's say that. We can agree with that because we haven't seen Whitebeard even in his prime. Oh my God, Pete. We haven't even seen Whitebeard do anything on the hockey same level as Shanks. We haven't seen him. What y'all call it? Wi-Fi. Let's Bluetooth my hockey. Yeah. Whitebeard ain't do that. The best hockey feat we seen from Whitebeard was when he clashed with Roger and they didn't touch. That's the best one. We see Luffy and Kaido doing that right now. Next, Shanks and Mihawk's duel. What did Whitebeard say? Like they heard it or it shook the seas, whatever they want to call it. If you want to correct me, they shook the seas or whatever. And they do it if it shook the seas, just like Roger and Whitebeard, they had to be using Conqueror's Hockey Coding. Had to be. If they're gonna do it. And they was going their hardest and they do it because we know Mihawk tries his hardest when like in his serious duels because he was serious about. That's the one thing we seen throughout the whole series that Mihawk was serious about. Next, y'all want to talk about durability? Mihawk and Shanks, even if they durability not as high as Whitebeard, I agree to that. You have to touch them first. They're not just gonna stand there and try to tank everything. That's not who they are. Mihawk can dodge. Mihawk and Shanks can dodge. They can move. They're not gonna be right there sitting there like a mannequin. Odin has what? Emma and the other one. It's neither of them are black. Neither of them. Not a single one is black. Mihawk has a black blade. And I believe, you can say this is speculation, that wielding a black blade is a better feat. And creating a black blade, mind you that, is a better feat than wielding Emma. Just because Emma saps your hockey, that's it. A black blade has constant hockey on it at all times. At all times. Larry, shake your head. You can shake your head all you want. You can all you want. That would not change my opinion about Mihawk and Shanks winning this fight.
Yo, shit, hold up.
Well, you're stating opinions and not facts is my point.
And I'm going to continue eating. I'm going to mute up real quick. But Zoro has carried a black blade in 𝐓𝐢𝐻 with no problem. And he has had an extreme issue carrying in Enma, which is not a black blade. So I don't know about the diatribe you was just on just now, real quick. I mean, making a blade black, maybe it is more difficult or whatever. I'm just saying the carrying of the blades is irrelevant in this case. You know what I'm saying? As far as the blackness. But I'm gonna go back to Ian. You keep doing your thing, man.
We can neglect the blackness. We can neglect that.
Hey yo.
We can neglect the armament hockey blades. We can neglect those. So, but like I was saying, when Odin was selling with Roger and Whitebeard, mind you, Odin was on Roger's crew when they fought Shiki in Ed War or something, nobody mentioned Odin in that fight. But I can guarantee you Odin did something. Nobody mentioned Odin in that fight. But like, he didn't get no world's strongest title swordsman. Like, if Odin is as good as a swordsman, y'all say, while they were selling with Roger and Whitebeard, it had to be like comp swordsman out there, right? It had to be. Like, if you with the best crew, you're gonna run into the other best crews.
He was
So
said to be the world's strongest swordsman at the time.
Who? Odin? When?
Yeah,
Pull it
it's on his Viva card. Pull up his Viva card.
It's on his Viva card? I'm not pulling that up. I ain't gonna lie. But if somebody else wanna pull it up and give me the facts,
He was considered
they can. But I'm not finna say. But like, yeah, I see you, Larry. I see you. Yeah, please, Larry, pull it up. But like, I guess he got the moniker of world's strongest swordsman while he was selling with Roger and Whitebeard. I'm like, wasn't mentioned in the anime or manga. But if
I need to see this Viva card too. I need to see it.
I've never heard of this before. Like, this just came out of thin air to me.
If we talk about what's not mentioned in the manga or the anime, let's start with Mihawk's Conqueror's Hockey for a second.
Okay.
Just like mentioned, while you're trying to like downplay this title, most of the things that you're attributing to Mihawk are not mentioned in the anime or the manga. It's developed off opinion in comparison to other people. Even the Wi-Fi hockey that you're giving Shanks credit for, what did it do? It talked to Green Bull. That's it. That's not
I been that though. Like, now when we get Shanks, y'all don't want to downplay it.
I'm not overhyping it. So let's bring it back to reality, because all it did was talk to somebody, and you're talking about a dude that's clashing, two of the strongest people in the verse clashing, like destroying the landscape around them, and you're saying that Shanks definitely has better hockey than Whitebeard without a doubt. That just doesn't make any sense.
It's shown that feat though. You can argue that it shows that Shanks has the most mastery of Kongasaki we've ever seen, because we've never seen anybody else do that. Like,
right, he does something different that doesn't make it stronger than the other thing.
Yeah, but it means you have a better understanding.
So my question to you,
name is better understanding.
My question to you is: can Shanks clash with Whitebeard and Roger right now, like with his Conqueror's Hockey and all that?
Sure.
Okay. I like yes better, but sure, I guess if you want to. Not only that, we can bring Whitebeard. We can bring Whitebeard's Devil Fruit into this.
Right. But
I've been doing my research. I have never seen
liability. What does Mihawk have shown, not speculated, that shows he's not as much of a liability as Odin?
Okay. You ready? I already said Black Blade. Sure. Mihawk. Let's say the pig, the devil that Odin cut in half. You can, if you want to put it on the same scale of the tidal wave iceberg. Mihawk. Okay, but that's still a feat, ain't it?
Mihawk is a grown man. You're talking about a feat from when Mihawk was a grown man.
We haven't seen no feats. We haven't seen no feats from Odin in his grown man state, besides getting folded and sent him another island by Roger, and then his he got deep fried. That's it. He got deep fried and got sent by Roger.
Fighting young Kaido is more impressive than fighting Vista.
Kaido wasn't in his prime. Kaido wasn't in his prime.
That doesn't matter. But even Kaido outside of his prime is more impressive than Vista. It's more impressive than Jozu. It's more impressive than cutting a tidal wave.
Guys, one at a time, please.
Right. Mihawk has no feats in the story that are more impressive than what Odin did. He doesn't.
Okay. So Mihawk, the reason he ain't fight them level of opponents, let me tell you. Mihawk what was his moniker before he became a warlord? Marine Hunter, right?
Sure.
So he was only like finding Marines and murking them, right? And he became a warlord, and became a warlord based off that. So to become a warlord, you're not taking out captains or chore boys or rear admirals. Like, you're taking out vice admirals or higher to become a warlord.
Yeah, but when you say higher, you're assuming admirals, right?
Yeah, vice admiral admirals. Yeah.
So you think that he was beating up admirals?
No, that's why I said vice admirals.
No, you said higher, right?
Okay, let's not say or higher, but vice admirals for sure. Like, Mihawk was out here murking vice admirals.
But Odin was considered the world's strongest swordsman when he was on the sea.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this.
Viva card. You can
I've never looked. I just looked. I just looked all over it. I couldn't find it. I just looked all over it. I couldn't find it. I'm gonna be honest.
I'll send it to you. I got it.
Okay, go ahead. Go on your imaginary book and send it to us.
Right.
But like, I'm gonna just end it right here. I think Mihawk is a better swordsman than Odin. Odin may have more physical strength, if you want to say that. But honestly, when it comes to sword play, technique, and like, now that I think about it, have Odin ever done a slash, like a ranged slash? Now that I think about this?
Well, Zoro, come on, man. You think he can't do a range slash, bro?
Right.
Okay, I was reaching with that, but that was another thing I was just going to point out. But like, Odin is definitely not winning in the sword fight against Mihawk because Odin never got the world's greatest tag, and Mihawk has it, and Mihawk has a black blade. Odin doesn't. Sword play, Mihawk wins. Let's just say that because of that. And then Shanks versus Whitebeard. Shanks is gonna have to hold out, which he can for sure. Because if they fought single-handedly, like 1-on-1, like it's definitely coming to extreme death. Shanks is gonna have to hold out until Mihawk high diffs or mid diffs. Nah, I'm gonna say high diff. High diffs Odin, and then they can jump jump Whitebeard, and Mihawk and Shanks got it.
Hey, one thing I want to say though, Toby, you said you think Odin is Yonko level.
I do think he's like on the lower tier of Yonko level.
So that means you think Mihawk is also Yonko level, but just above that.
I do.
So I mean, he was banging with Shanks, right? So it's possible.
This was when Shanks had one arm. Shanks was in a Yonko back then.
Let him finish. All right. Oh, Zaki, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because you made it seem a lot easier than it seemed if there's two Yonko level people fighting.
I mean, I feel like there's different Beast and then there's Yonko. Like, I feel like if Kaido and Blackbeard fought, like let's say Blackbeard pulled up on Wano, I feel like Kaido would mid different. I don't think that's a bad thing.
That's another argument for another time. Okay.
We could do this in the den, bro. We could do this in the den, but that's another thing.
That's another argument for another time. We can do this in another chat later on today.
Yeah, we could do this another time, bro. We on the same side right now, though. We on the same side.
But yeah, Mihawk is stronger than Odin.
Mihawk is mid different Odin.
I don't believe that.
Diff, come on now.
Yeah, I say like
high diff at most, bro. It's not extreme diff.
But we can end this because I see it's 4-14. Y'all up 10. And oh well, I can't do nothing to change it. But yeah. I guess
Who you got, Larry?
To win.
Yeah, I figure I might as well go since that's probably the last of everybody.
See my piece. I'm sorry, I haven't.
Oh yeah,
been
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah. You showed up.
Okay, so I haven't been home. I got here and I saw I was in call. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I called on you first too.
I'm sorry about that.
That's cool. Go, Ryunosuke. State your piece.
So I got a question for you guys before I say anything. Do you guys think Shanks' hockey can mess with the Gura?
Yes.
How bad?
Because from what we've seen, Mihawk. I mean, I have not seen. Prove me wrong, please. Whitebeard use the Gurgurn on me and Conqueror's hockey coding. I have not seen that at all. So who's to say you can't even integrate it?
We saw it when
didn't we see it against Odin?
When did we see it? No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't because I literally live streamed it in Entrance to the Den. And
well, if Luffy can use it with his fruit, you have to assume anybody that can do it with their fruit.
But then now we're moving into speculation, right? Right?
No,
we're moving into speculation.
No,
but that's the whole argument for me.
It's harder to speculate that he can't use it in conjunction with his devil fruit than it is that he can use it in conjunction.
I'm just saying.
I mean, if he was fighting Roger in like friendly battles, it's you can assume that he can use Conquerors with his fruit.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't seen it. You do have a point.
Luffy.
I mean, I think it's just crazy to speculate that he can't more than speculating he can.
Yeah, Shin, with speculation like this, like, is it reasonable to think that he could use it?
Isn't it reasonable? Isn't it reasonable to think Mihawk has Conqueror's hockey if Zoro has it?
I think it is. I'm just saying.
If we said earlier Akainu has it,
beyond all that, I'm just saying, what's the basis that Whitebeard, for whatever reason, would not be able to use Conqueror's coding with his Devil Fruit? There's no
every time he used the girl attack, he never used hockey with it.
So this is the thing. So a lot of what we've seen from Whitebeard came pre-time skip. We had no idea what Conqueror's coding even was. So we can't scope on that for any reason. And then when we did know, like, we saw him clash with Roger for 2 seconds. Like, we don't, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to be like, yo, he didn't use it in this moment, so therefore he can't use it. Like, that's, to me, I'm not doing that. Not with Whitebeard. Not with a dude that they said is the strongest man in the world for several decades. But that's me. I mean, by all means, bro, you see the series different, do your thing. But it sounds more to me that you making arguments to try to bump your peoples versus genuinely how you feel. But that's me.
Yeah, because we've only seen Whitebeard fight like once as a young adult, and all of the other fights he was really old, so we don't know what a full power Whitebeard can do. And I think the power difference between Shanks and Whitebeard in terms of like raw strength, I think Whitebeard takes it, no contest. I think
Everything's
Odin.
not about raw strength though. Hockey matters.
I know it isn't. I know it isn't about raw strength, but you gotta assume that Whitebeard's conquerors or Whitebeard's hockey in general would be on par with people like Shanks. Of course, not as you know as powerful as Shanks, but you know he probably has some good hockey. So I think raw strength does take a big factor in this now.
That's fair.
I think Odin is a weak link, but personally, I think the fight between him and Mihawk would be extreme death, and I think Whitebeard just beat Shanks. So I think Whitebeard and Odin take this.
All right. I think Larry was about to give his take.
Yeah, spit, bro.
Oh God.
I think we all know where Larry going. Actually, I don't.
Yes,
I think I know where Larry going, bro.
Let me def him real quick.
Yeah, you might as well, Shen. I'm going Whitebeard and Odin. It is extreme. I'm never gonna change my opinion when it comes to Rocks, Roger, Prime, Whitebeard, and Garp. I think when you talk about those four people, they stand in a league of their own. And the only two people that are stronger between the other two is Rocks and Roger. When I look at Shanks, I do think Shanks is stronger than Mihawk. I think Shanks happens to show that he has Conqueror's coding to some degree. He could split skies. There hasn't been many who could do that. He did the Wi-Fi hockey. And also, you know, he's the only person, you know, to challenge the world government and Blackbeard after he thought he was invincible. And they both said, I don't want the sauce at the same time. So regardless of what his relationship is to the government, somebody that carries 2 devil fruits and wasn't scared of anybody thought, you know, I wasn't ready for this guy. I think that Shanks and Whitebeard would have a really good fight. I do not think that Shanks is on Roger's stature, not just yet. I think that Shanks is still a young lad and he still has more to go. But the difference is right now it's like Mihawk and Odin. Mihawk should be able to beat Odin, but there's too many things around Mihawk that just doesn't make sense. And for me, you know, like, you know, Shin said, you know, I've mentioned this before, the whole black blade. We don't know if he turned it black. Zoro has been shown to wield 𝐓𝐢𝐴, which is also a black blade. He had no difficulty doing that. We don't know who the previous title owner of the strongest swordsman was as well. And I think there's a strong evidence to say that Odin might have been that previous title user. But we don't know, right? Also, there's no Vivre card for Odin. I just checked. He doesn't have one. So, I would say that Odin's bounty was definitely over $1 billion, especially if Crocodiles is $1 billion.
Hold up, Larry.
Well,
Party, you in here, Captain?
Exactly.
You in here lying, bro?
It just sounded like something I never heard of before.
No, it was for the sake of the argument.
No, I'm looking for the. I had this argument in a different Discord, and someone posted it. I'm looking to.
Yeah, there's a Wano pack, a Wano Vivre card pack, but Odin's mentioned in it, but he's not. He doesn't have a Vivre card himself.
Yeah.
So here's the thing for me, right? Like, Mihawk was shown to cut a tidal wave easily, and you know, Shin is right. Like, you don't show up to work and go as hard as you do, right? Like, it's work. Like, that's how he views it. But at the end of the day, Mihawk did have two things that stood out. One was he wanted to measure the distance of strength in comparison to him and Whitebeard. And when he did so, that sword slash got blocked by Jozu. That's either he's lacking observation or he just overall expected that strength level was going to take Whitebeard out. So you have to choose either one, right? Next, you have the whole fate thing, right? Where he says, yo, I'm going to leave Luffy's life up to fate and I'm just going to attack him. To the point where the dude was no longer just using his sword with two hands. He literally was jumping onto the hilt of the sword in order to stab Luffy. Like, the dude had
Rocket
all
power.
4 limbs on a sword in order to cut Luffy. And he only cut him one time out of like the 12 times he swung at him. And then 3, if he was really that strong and he really just, you know, was that powerful, I think Mihawk just pushes Vista to the side instead of asking him, let's finish this battle later. If you put Kaido into that position, you put Big Mom into that position, they're just swiping Vista away and going about their day. I don't think Vista's stronger than Marco. You know what I'm saying? But Big Mom also was like, yo, I don't have the time to deal with Marco because he could regenerate and do these other things. Like, she couldn't just push him to the side as much as she wanted to. So there's a lot that Mihawk just seems to be very inconsistent of. And then my big thing with Oden, and it's what makes me love Oden, but it makes me hate Oda's writing, is the fact that he couldn't cut through that barrier no me ability. Even though he just came back after Roger's adventures and he had Conqueror's coding and this and that, but yet he couldn't cut through that barrier. So
Yeah, Conqueror's coding?
he was
He was using it. He was running through the fodder with like Conqueror's coding.
I
don't think that's to
It's
downplay
possible-
Oden, though.
I think it's
that's just
possible
to
that
show
he.
how strong the barrier is.
But I think it's possible he gained Conqueror's coding during the 5 years, but that's always just been my headcanon to make that moment make sense.
So the thing is, for me, it's like, again, if I scale Oden, I know that he is strong as hell. I think he could fight an admiral for sure and be okay. And I get the point that everybody tries to make that like Kaido was young and when he fought Oden, it was 20 years ago. Obviously, Kaido is stronger now than he was before. But when you look at Zoro's attack and him cutting Hybrid Kaido, the Akazaya 9 cut Kaido. Are they stronger than Oden? No. Like, and he was wielding that sword that Zoro was struggling with like a feather. So that's inconsistencies there too, right? I think that Whitebeard, especially in his prime, he's blowing clouds away instead of splitting clouds. That's a difference in Conquerors, as you know, from the get. Even though Oden might be the weakest out of all 4, I think he has enough strength to hold back Mihawk, and then Whitebeard could finish Shanks. And then they'll just double team Mihawk if need be.
So I gotta.
You can go.
Oh, thanks. So my question to you is, if Shanks, like Prime Shanks and Prime Beard fought, and you saying Whitebeard go in after he finished Shanks, he go to jump Mihawk. What diff is Prime Beard beating Shanks? Like, he's coming out that like unscathed or like injured or like passing out? Like, what do you think is gonna happen after that fight?
So this is like more speculation, right? So when we speculate, we have to go by the probability of evidence, right? So it's like, what do we have now in order to speculate what the ceiling is for each character? And it's like, okay, so if I look at Shanks, to me, his highest feats of any type of strength is he literally walked on a ship and was just Conqueror's hockeying the whole time to the point he broke inanimate objects. There has been no other person in the entire series that's been able to do such a feat unless they clashed with another Conqueror's hockey user, right? So that to me speaks very loudly about Shanks itself. But then I go to Whitebeard and I'm like, okay, him and Roger were able to explode a sky plus the island that they were on. And it's like, yeah, we could give some of that credits to Roger and the fact that they were clashing. but nobody in the entire series has been able to do that. And when Shanks and Whitebeard clashed in his old age, they only split the sky as well. I don't know. I just have to say, you know what? Like Prime Whitebeard has to get that probability of evidence that he's probably stronger. It's not a fact, but I think it's more like 80% compared to Shanks' 20%.
Larry, you know how I feel about that exploding the sky stuff. Like
it happened,
that explode, but it was.
I think it was a feat there on purpose. I think it was made on purpose.
It wasn't an overcast. It was partly cloudy. So like the sky was already like it was still like sky and just clouds, like Andy's wallpaper in Toy Story. So it's like
okay. So what's harder? What's harder to explode or push to the side? A ship or an island?
An island.
Yeah, and that's what they did.
So they pushed the island?
Yeah, if you look at it, they were pushing the island as well, the trees, all that. But the ship was just fine when Old Man Whitebeard and Shanks clashed. It was just a sky split. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of want to just say, like, because of how early Oda was in the story, and you know they wasn't even touching, but we know if they actually tried, like, and then Whitebeard couldn't use Conqueror's Haki at that moment, so it's like Shanks was probably like maybe the only one using Conqueror's Haki.
No, you have to use Conqueror's Haki to split the sky, because it's the reason the sky splits is because it's two Conqueror's Hakis clashing together. So everything splits from where they are all the way up to the sky.
So then it wasn't advanced Conqueror's Haki code and they split the sky with. It was just Conqueror's code.
Basically, yeah, because they were touching swords.
We saw Kaido and Big Mom do the same thing.
Okay, so they used Roger and Whitebeard used advanced while Shanks and them just used regular Conqueror's coding.
Yeah. So there's a difference, right? There's Conqueror's coding and then there's advanced Conqueror's coding, where the advanced part is the non-touching part. And that's what the goats were doing. This is why these goats are there for a reason, right? And then Luffy and Kaido started doing it, but at a lower form, in my opinion, because one, Luffy just learned it, and Kaido knew it, but he only was fighting to the competition of his the level of his competition. And like that's the big problem with Kaido. Like Kaido probably is as strong as Prime Whitebeard, but we'll never know because apparently he's dead now. But he's always had another level to go to. He's always had another level to succeed. He just chose not to do so like most times. That's why Akazaya 9 were able to cut him and stab him. And like I think that Whitebeard, it's weird because Whitebeard's starting to get a little bit of disrespect lately, man. And I don't get why. Because if you look at him in his old age, he's still the most impressive Yonko besides Kaido. Like his feats are crazy during Marineford War, but he doesn't get enough credit because he was old and sickly, and the admirals couldn't go all out.
Some of his feats do go to willpower, though. I will say that.
Oh, of course, but that's the show, right? Yeah. It just shows that you can have power. You can have the
definitely. He should have been dead, but like willpower kept his body moving.
Yo, but this is what I try to tell you guys every single stream, bro. Every time I talk, that willpower reigns over everything. And the fact was, even though he was an experienced Goro no Mi user, that wasn't enough to compete with top tiers. In order to compete, you need to have the Devil Fruit if you have one. And you need to have Haki no matter what. And this is why Blackbeard can't be as strong as everybody thinks he is right now, but he will definitely later on because he needs that Haki part. If he doesn't get the Haki part, he'll just be another Whitebeard at that point, but he wouldn't have Whitebeard's strengths as a human being. He would just have the durability of one. Until Akainu comes through and just punches a hole through his face because he lets himself get hit.
Well, why are you arguing with me right now?
Yeah, I'm just trying to prove a point that this, like, it's
no, but honestly though, like, when it comes to Whitebeard, I'll say the only thing, like, old Whitebeard, like you say, people disrespect him. It's that he was letting a lot of attacks hit him like badly, like the Kizaru lasers.
He was old.
Yeah, I know. That's part of it. Yeah, I'm saying that's part of it.
Yeah, there's no speed strains. You know, if Haki, like Rayleigh said, is a huge stress, you know, even while he's on life support, like he literally took the tubes out of his arms, bro, and was just like, all right, let's go to war. Like, I'm expecting to die here. And I don't think that a prime Whitebeard would hit Akainu the way he did, and Akainu would get back up.
He was also relatively holding back with the Guruguru no Mi, just because
Yeah.
Like, he's not going all out with that.
It's like, for example, right? Look what he did to. I know it's only anime only, and I don't really speak on anime only. But like when he punched Whitebeard and when he punched Odin in the face, and he quaked him in the face, and then Odin got sent flying like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Odin got back up, but it's like he was just using that just to get Odin off of him. Where like he was seriously angered after Akainu killed Ace.
Killed Ace.
It's like
What was that?
he couldn't get up to that level, bro.
Yeah.
Even against
But-
Blackbeard.
But
He
you can-
like
Yeah, but even then, Blackbeard, again, this is where like it's either you're lacking observation hockey or you're just not strong enough, right? Where Blackbeard literally thought that Whitebeard was going to kill him with that shock.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, one squad ran away with it. I thought this was gonna be pretty even. It was even on the YouTube. It was 54-46 after 67 votes in the opposite direction, which is actually interesting for Shanks and Mihawk. But
It's because in YouTube you don't have to argue. You don't have to argue it. It's
You just
hard.
make
I
your
was thinking,
selection.
I was racking my brain, bro. I was racking my brain before I got in here. Like, how am I gonna argue for Shanks and Mihawk? I just couldn't.
Well, there is a thing for Shanks, in my opinion.
Yeah, for Shanks. Yeah.
I think there's definitely something there for Shanks, but if it wasn't Prime Whitebeard, like if it's Prime Garp too, like I don't even think that he beats Prime Garp. Like if we replace it, in my opinion, I just hold those four to a very high standard, like the highest of the highest. Everybody else, if you replace Whitebeard with Sengoku, I think this is a way harder fight.
You don't believe Shanks on that level, like of the top tier, like with Garp now?
I think he's still a little too young.
Oh, because everybody else in their prime was 40 or
Yeah,
like,
he did only become a Yonko 6 years ago.
I think the two people that broke the show is probably Rox and obviously Luffy, right? Because he's only 19. But I think Rox was probably in my opinion, he's probably a young dude, and he was just like Luffy. He's probably the exact spitting image of Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that, but there's no way to know.
Yeah.
All right, we can call this matchup. I actually do have to call the stream earlier than I'd like today. Sorry, guys. I know I was off camera for a decent amount of this as well. But I heard most of what you guys said. So it was really interesting. A lot of the takes you guys had. Chestnut was going off. I heard that. I wasn't able to experience it live, but she was going off.
She's always hating on Mihawk for no reason.
He's Shanks too.
You mean Shanks?
Oh yeah, Shanks. My bad.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give my take. Similar to everybody else, I actually rank Whitebeard higher than I think everybody else. I think he's as strong as Roger and Rox, because he was slightly younger than them during their eras. And he has the claim to being the world's strongest man for several decades, with dudes like Kaido and Big Mom existing. And he has the strongest Devil Fruit as far as destructive capability. And obviously has all the hockey needs that you would have. So like I said, when we had the rankings, I was fighting for Whitebeard to be rated 100. I got outvoted, so it is what it is. But if he's 100 and I had Shanks at like a 97, I don't think I had I don't remember what I had Mihawk and Odin, but I think
we had him at 96 or 95, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
He was at 96.
Yeah. Personally, I think Mihawk is stronger than Odin. I will acknowledge that there is some inconsistencies in both of their writings that Larry pointed out, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. I just think if Zoro's goal is going to be Mihawk and he's supposed to be a rival of Shanks, I have high expectations of him. He hasn't necessarily lived up to those expectations to this point in the series, but I also don't think he's ever taken anything seriously. So I just want to see him go all out before I gauge how strong he actually is. I do think he's stronger than Odin, though. But in general, I would say it's going to be extreme diff. I think the fight would be really interesting. Obviously, it's going to be Mihawk versus Odin and Whitebeard versus Shanks. I just don't think Shanks is beating a prime Whitebeard. I know Shanks is he was number one on my top 30 that we did on Dak stream. But if Whitebeard was on the rankings, he'd have been number one for me. If he was, Prime Whitebeard was inserted into the series today, he'd be number one. So it is what it is. I'd say Extreme Diff. It's going to be a crazy fight. I do want to give some pushback to people who are saying that Shanks and Mihawk likely can't or possibly can't take the damage that Whitebeard and Odin can dish out. And I'm like, they just wouldn't be competing at this level if, you know what I mean? If they couldn't take the damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that. Like, I know I troll Shanks all the time about the thing that took his arm back in the day, but like, it's a different series now than it was 20 plus years ago. Oda didn't know where he was going power scale here. And even if he did, there's like narrative to that or whatever. I don't know. There's ways to excuse it. It's still a plot hole. Shout out to Larry for that one. But ultimately, I just got Whitebeard, bro. It's Whitebeard. Like like, you know what I mean? The way they talk about Kaido is the way that I think about Whitebeard. Like, if it's 1v1, what are we talking about? None of these dudes are beating him, including Kaido, including Shanks. It doesn't matter. So it is what it is. But thank you guys all for joining the DDT this week. Larry, you got some?
I just want to point out one thing too.
What's up?
Is that everybody likes to speculate like narrative, and they love to do it with Mihawk, especially because he's supposed to be the greatest swordsman, right? But if Mihawk and Kaido fought right now, if it's 1v1, always bet on Kaido, then Kaido's probably going to beat Mihawk, right? And it's because he's not a swordsman. But it's like, okay, so if narratively, Luffy's next opponent, if he's to fight the next Yonko or the next big bad, that person's going to be stronger than the previous person he fought. That would be Shanks. So narratively, wouldn't that mean that Shanks is no matter what stronger than Mihawk, even though he's named the strongest swordsman in the world? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't, it's like so weird that people use narrative and then they speculate to a degree where they selectively choose what matters and what doesn't. And it's like, even if we used to say that too, it's like, at the end of the day, Luffy's always going to be stronger than Blackbeard. So why argue anything about speculation of narrative?
Yeah, Larry, what triggered that? Because ain't nobody said Shanks is weaker than Mihawk.
I heard it earlier. That's why it just came back to my head.
Who said that?
I do want to say one thing. You saying since Kaido is stronger than Mihawk, Shanks got to be stronger than Mihawk. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because Kaido will beat the world's strongest swordsman, and Shanks is stronger. But don't Kaido got a world's strongest moniker? Ain't he the world's strongest creature?
Yeah.
None of the other Yonkos are creatures, though.
Exactly.
You said what?
I say none of the other Yonkos are creatures, though. So the Kaido's title as the world's strongest creature is kind of a title that a lot of people aren't equipped for. You know, they're not. They're all. The rest of them are humans, not Onis.
Like, creatures include humans too, right?
I thought creatures just meant like strongest out of anything.
Yeah, that's what creatures is. Because in Baki, 𝐓𝐢𝐻 is the world's strongest creature, and that includes humans.
Oh no, shit! I wouldn't call you a creature, though.
No.
I'd like to think that it was a title that they created for Kaido because it was like, all right, we can't give him the status over Whitebeard, but like he clearly doing some things, so they needed to give him something. And he's not human, so they were like, all right, we'll go with this one. You know what I mean? Plus, they don't call him like human; they call him a thing. Like Big Mom straight up said, "You're not gonna beat that thing because he's not human. He's of something different." So ultimately, it was just to give him a super cool title, like being real, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, same with me. Same with Mihawk, bro.
Crazy too.
Listen, I still think they're worthy of the titles. It's not like
I'll tell you this:
we gotta analyze it to that degree.
Old man Whitebeard didn't deserve the strongest man in the world, bro. It definitely was. It definitely.
Yeah, that was a respect thing.
Yeah, it was a respect thing. It's crazy how far respect goes, bro.
Yo, but it's what are we gonna do? Like, all right, well, Whitebeard aged out of your world's strongest man status. We got to pass it on. Like, who's doing that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like he hadn't lost to anybody.
Yo,
what do we?
What's kid's title? I wonder, bro.
Rival of Luffy, one of the strongest supernovas. mechanical genius. I can go on and
Yo,
on.
bro, kid. Yo,
Fashion idol. Like what?
I'm gonna be real with you. If your title is the rival of some other guy, you gotta call it a day, bro. That's not a title. That's like the worst thing in the world, bro.
But for the record, rivals aren't equal because they call Kid Luffy's rival.
Listen,
we know who's winning that fight, right?
I'm just saying, if your claim to fame is that you rivaled this guy, like, you know what I mean? Like Patrick Ewing is a rival to Michael Jordan. Like, those aren't comparable people, bro.
Oh no, he's not. Don't ever say that.
You know what I mean? They're rivals in the sense that they played in the same era.
Charles Barkley was.
Yeah.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
come on. Y'all, I just don't want to hear kid slander.
Yo, what was Blackbeard's title?
You got
I forgot.
Shin, you might need to leave this Discord if you're not trying to hear kids slander, bro.
Bro, everybody just hate kid for no inherent reason.
I don't hate kids. I'm just this is a reality, bro.
Y'all call him
You want to know Blackbeard's title, Larry?
What is it?
Don Chinjiao's favorite. That's his title.
Y'all been Blackbeard and
That's a good one, bro.
No, I'm not disrespecting him. I love Blackbeard. Larry knows, bro.
Put anybody in kid position, like.
Yo, what's
they
Marco's
coming out
title?
worse.
Marco got a title too, or
You
not?
was just hyping him up earlier, Larry. That was the first time. That's crazy. That was the first time I seen Larry hype up Marco.
No, not Larry be hyping Marco. He just also has this high standard of expectation that he should have reached, and it's like, yo, bro, he was never reaching that, bro.
He wasn't meant to be that.
Yo, what's Ace's title, bro?
Donut.
Out of here.
Yeah. Yo, listen, bro. I'm realist, bro. I know my favorite characters aren't that guy. All right.
Shin.
What you trying to say?
Learn that.
Oh my God.
Understand that, bro.
Bro,
It is literally
Law could not beat Big Mom without Kid.
Yo, neither could Kid without Law.
Okay, but let's also say this: Kid did more offensive damage output.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Law didn't. Answer this. What did Law do before his awakening? Please tell me.
What did Kid do before his awakening?
He slammed her.
Damn, that's crazy. Slam Big Mom.
Nothing, bro. She
Slam
got
Big Mom.
Yo, bro.
Like
Yo.
You try to slam Big Mom and tell me how hard it is.
There's folks in this chat that slam Big Mom, bro. What we talking?
What? Oh my God! Maybe you is Jinbei.
Yo, listen. Seb as Jinbei would be able to punch Big Mom off the going Mary, bro.
Hey, Seb like that. That's all I gotta say. Seb is like that.
But it actually happened.
So where do you think Chopper's in? Because Chopper's slammed Queen. So where's Chopper going?
Yeah, Chopper, top commander of a Yonko crew.
So let me say this because I hate kid slander.
Right.
One of top 3 supernova in terms of strength. Let's get that off.
There's only like 11 of them, man.
Okay.
And one of them's dead, by the way. One of them's dead.
Wouldn't you want to be the top 3 of the worst generation, like the people who's leading the next era?
He's not top 3 worst generation.
Yo, it's arguable that he's like Blackbeard, Law, Kid. I mean Blackbeard, Law, Luffy, Zoro all have a case.
That's Blackbeard not part of the supernova.
You could argue Zoro.
Supernovas though.
Zoro, bro. All I gotta say is Luffy, Zoro, Kid. That's 3 right there.
Yo, how much
Law?
He's fourth then.
How many garbage cans you got in your room, bro?
Bro, I got one, and it says Marco. I got you, bro. I got you. But like I was saying, Kid made a rail gun out of scraps.
Damn, that's crazy.
A mecha that could fly.
Wow. Damn,
a mecha that could
crazy.
Fly. With high output damage, a bull.
Saying that's crazy.
I'm not mad at nothing that shit's saying.
You just to take with him places.
A bull, a giant mechanical bull that even had Big Mom worried about it. Because before the second one hit, she said, "I cannot get hit by that thing again."
Damn,
I'm just saying, I'm going straight from the source.
Crazy.
You spit right now, shit.
No speculation. No speculation. I got you. I cannot get hit by that big
Zero's
thing
attack
right
made Kaido dodge.
Right.
Shit,
But also,
you could also say that Zoro's stronger.
Kids
I had Zoro over Kid. Like, what are we talking about?
His entire strength is predicated on the presence of scraps for him to use.
Exactly.
Okay. And if your strength is that high, that you using scraps and you still up there hanging with like Law and Zoro?
Hanging.
Like, yes, yes.
Yeah, he hanging with them. You can't say he not hanging with them.
I thought he said
there's no mechanical bull. There's none of it.
Damn, yeah. So your favorite character rides a mechanical bull?
He didn't ride it. He flipped it out. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Yo, he was definitely on top of that bull at one point.
Yo, listen, man. If you ride a mechanical bulls, man, there's no judgment, man.
And he had Blicky with him too. He had the Blick and
just
pulled it
make
out,
sure
shot
his
Big
G
Mom.
string is not popping out, man.
Oh,
That's
don't get it twisted. Kid is doper than y'all give him credit for. He's stronger than y'all give him credit for. But you cannot be like, yo, I'm this guy's rival, and that's my claim to fame. That's not enough, bro. This is One Piece.
Hey, shit, they're gonna be calling him the king of 𝐷 some shit.
Yes. I can't wait. Because young baby Big Mom destroyed 𝐷𝐵𝐹 because she didn't get no macaroons, and y'all telling me kid not stronger than young baby Big Mom?
Yo, it was 𝐷𝐷𝐻, bro, not macaroons.
Oh,
Let's keep
my bad. I thought it was macaroons.
Yo, guys, I gotta end the stream, yo.
Yeah,
we got to get our kid for 20
open
minutes.
the window.
We can talk about this in the Discord. You get it?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all seen the meme I put in there, bro? This is how I feel all the time.
Yeah.
I'm shooting a tank with a pistol, bro. Every time.
All right, guys.
Subscribe to Signature Seb.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was nice speaking to you guys. Have a great night.
Y'all too, bro.
Too funny.
That was funny. Too funny, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
You want to end the stream?
Yeah. So we got our next matchups for the next DDT or the next round. It's going to be our number 1 seed and our number 2 seed fighting because they both had buys. With Roger and Rayleigh fighting Whitebeard and Odin, and Kaido and Big Mom fighting Garp and Sengoku. Should be very interesting. We're going to let you guys know those beforehand on next Wednesday's stream. So you guys can, study, do what you guys need to do, research why I think wins each of these fights. But this was a lot of fun. I apologize for my internet crashing and deal with some stuff in the house. So I wasn't able to be on camera or on stream for the entire time. But I heard a lot of what you guys said. It was a lot of fun, a lot of funny banter and arguments going on. And as always, we love doing this with you guys. Like we say, it's another way to engage with you beyond just on Mondays because we can't get to too many callers when we go over the chapters and we do news and we give all our takes. So this was a cool way for us to have these dialogues and have these conversations. Plus, deep down, everybody loves the power scale on some level, and this allows us to do it in a fun format. So we're going to continue to do DTs until you guys say you don't want us to do them anymore. But that's it for me. I just really appreciate everybody stepping out. Like the stream if you haven't already. We're like, I think 100 followers away from 5,000 subs. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. That's a huge milestone that we're looking out for. But thank you guys so much for being on this journey with us. Larry, you have anything to say before we close out?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does feel like we have more than 4.9K in subs.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody else also says that. They like also can't believe that it's only that much. I think we have a better community than anybody else, so it's gonna seem like more. We get more support. We're more interactive with everybody than other people. I can't even imagine like if we ever had like 10K, it would be double this. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see this on any other channel. Like even people that have like 100K or 120K or even 1 million, you'll see people like watching, but you'll never see people like directly involved or like that supportive. Like they'll super chat once in a while. They'll be members and stuff like that, but they're just not as ingrained. And I think that's really special. I don't think you'll find it anywhere else. So it's wild. I always think it's crazy. I don't have much to say.
I'm just lost in the fact that you have glasses on right now.
Yeah,
I've known Larry my like whole life, and this is the first time I've ever seen him wear glasses. It's crazy to me right now. So
yeah, bro. My eyes are being a little weird. I have a doctor's appointment for them tomorrow.
Listen, man. You look good.
You look good. You look good. It's either my eyes are going weird, or I have brain damage. It's one of the two, right? So. But other than that, thank you guys. Much love. My name is Larry.
Seb.
And this is that One Piece Talk. Jana.